Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxxTV's podcast 186. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, along with Johnny V. How are we doing tonight?
I'm doing good, Terry.
Yeah, you are. All right. Well, we're here. It is Tuesday night, March 13th. I don't have any, I haven't even, until I just said the date, I don't have any specific timestamps. Was there anything cool that took place today or in the last 20-some hours?
Nothing, I mean, there's always current events and world news, but what do we got? Rex Tillerson was let go by tweet.
Okay.
Our Secretary of State found out he lost his job because of a tweet.
That seems fitting with the way communications go in this day and age with the presidency.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Is that the first I don't want to say politician. Is that the first person in office holding any kind of office that has left the White House since the beginning of the presidency? No?
I don't believe so.
Okay, I'm a little behind on my times.
About 50 of them.
All right. Well, we're going to move on. Nobody wants to hear politics, and we're not going to give it to you anyway. So we are here, of course, like I said, March 13th. We are on the weekly eve of heading down to Waco, Texas.
Precipice,
okay. If it's so we're a few days out. Is there such a thing as like the eve weekly? Is there any such term for that?
I don't know where you're going with this, but I'm going to go with no.
Well, you say like Christmas Eve. Obviously, it's the night before Christmas. I get that.
So it's your flight eve.
We're like a few days out. Is there a weekly eve?
No, there's not.
All right.
But I did find out today that we're broadcasting on Thursday.
Wow, we are. Well, yeah. I knew that.
I did not.
Okay.
I knew it was
I
knew it was a 3-day event, and in my head and in my calendar, I put down Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So here I'm thinking like, and then someone says, no, it starts on Thursday. And I was like, we must just not be broadcasting the first day. We did that a few times last year. Skipped the first day.
Did we?
We did, I think, twice. Came in on Friday. I think we did. I'm not positive. Ledgestone,
we did not broadcast the first day.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So anyway, so then suddenly it was like, it's a 3-day event and it starts Thursday, which completely blew my mind. But I'm ready. I'm prepared. We're good to go.
Okay. Well, like I said,
getting all my ducks in order.
Once I saw your post, I said we have some big problems if we in fact are broadcasting on Sunday, because both Rick and I, two of the cameraman and myself, are both scheduled to fly out of Dallas on Sunday evening. So not sure we'd quite make that flight if there was a broadcast Sunday afternoon. So we are, of course, going to be live Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I'm just going to take a wild stab at this, so there's a great chance I could be wrong. I'm sure somebody out on the board, I think I saw Cameron Frymark out there. I'm guessing what they're doing is similar to last year, where the non-professional divisions, some of the advanced or amateur divisions, they play probably Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so that might have brought you to some of your confusion that the event actually really kind of goes Thursday through Sunday, but the pros play earlier and end earlier, and then the amateurs end a little bit later. So, and Cameron's on the board, and he's saying yes. So, I think that might be a model that we may see become more and more common. I know Steve Dodge really liked it. I think the WACO group must have liked it last year, which is why they're repeating it this year. It gives a great chance for people to kind of see what's going on early, as in Thursday. Also be able to see, everything wrap up on Saturday, but then the amateurs can still do their thing and wrap up their tournament with a little less ruckus, we'll say, on Sunday. So it makes sense if you can stretch it out in that situation. So that's what we're going to see. We are live Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Now, do we go live?
I have a flight there tomorrow, and I have a flight home on Sunday.
2:30. Is that?
I have no idea what time. Don't you dare ask me. That I don't know.
It's supposed to be the same time.
Every time
we go live
in the same time zone.
I'm going to make a mad assumption that it was 2:30 in Arizona, so that it'll be 2:30 Central.
Really? It was 2:30?
Well, it was 3:30 Central there. It was 2:30 for me. So I think it's going to be 2:30 for me now. And either way, you can go to dgpt.com/watch. It's probably got a countdown already.
It does.
It'll get you there.
It shows 4 p.m. Eastern is what it shows, which would be 3 p.m. Central.
Okay, so
that may or may not have some adjustment.
I was thinking tee off, but yes, we go live at that point.
Correct. Let's talk about that real quickly. There was a little hubbub. I think that's still the up-to-date term.
That's what all the kids are saying.
The kids are saying. There was a little hubbub with regard to when we went live versus when play was shown on the screen. Can you give everybody just a little clarification and then throw Steve under that blame bus?
Well, yeah, Steve does deserve to get thrown under the blame bus for this one. Steve's Grandmaster plan, not Grandmaster Flash, way different thing.
No, not entirely.
Well, is to have like a pregame show every day. Okay. So what he wants is he's telling everyone we're going to be live at this time. We're going to have highlights from the day before. We're going to have breakdowns of holes. We're going to have interviews. We're going to have advertisings. We're going to have talking to sponsors, all that fun stuff. So it is when we say we're going to go live, that's when we are live with our broadcast. That might not necessarily be when they tee off. And obviously everything's flexible with backups and things of that nature. As we found out at the Memorial, things can be nudged.
Okay. So Cameron out on the board had said that currently the last tee is scheduled for 3:15, which perfectly fits into this grand plan, which means show starts at 3. This is all central. Show starts at 3 o'clock. Have about 10 to 15-ish minutes then of a pregame show, the Circle Zero show, which I believe Dixon Jowers will again be producing and putting together. And then as soon as that's wrapped up at about 3:15, that's when we go live on the tee with our featured card.
It is.
So that's the logic. In case anyone's confused, I know not everybody, some people got really worked up about, well, it was 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 minutes or whatever. That is completely intentional, and that's the plan. And then we're hoping for as smooth of a broadcast as possible. Steve does, again, have a grand plan, which we love, is to try to get these rounds to 3 hours or less. And they're playing par 62, par 64, par 70 courses. So it's always going to be tough just due to the nature of the course. But if we can do everything we can in terms of the spacing of the groups and the flow of play, the overall plan is to get rounds to under 3 hours. And then I'm going to follow that up and say, if we can get to that, if we can hit that mark, let's just say it's 3 hours. Oh, we were pretty close. Final round of...
It was close. I don't think... I'm expecting more 3 to 3... I'd say about 3:15 to 3:30. Those about the times I'm going to expect on most of our major longer courses. The Memorial and Fountain Hills and Vista, Vista's not as bad, but Fountain Hills plays fast. Always has, always will, assuming you don't hit that backup. Some of our other courses, when you get more wooded, they're going to get a little bit more backups.
Idlewild, sure.
Idlewild. So I'm just always under the assumption about 3:15 to 3.5 if there's no backups.
Well, we'll see how it goes, but my question would be, let's just say we can hit that magic 180-minute mark, that 3-hour mark. Let's say somehow the next 9 events,
I can start drinking 2 hours in and not feel it until after.
That's a good call. We hit that 3-hour mark. Are we lessening the argument slightly? And we're never going to be quite as polished as a fully post-produced round. We realize that. Well, not never, but we're not there yet. That's just technology, and we still rely on cell signals. But if we can get to 3 hours,
then we're right in the wheelhouse of every other major sport.
And does it somewhat lessen or nullify the argument that, well, I don't have time for 3 hours, when in comparison, a lot of the post-production coverage is going more than an hour easily.
About an hour, yeah, because you got the front and back 9. So we're still 3 times longer, and there's convenience and timing and this and that. So no, it's never. You're never gonna have that. That's never gonna go away.
All right. Well, that's what we're shooting for. Trying to make it as clean and tight and as concise as possible. We'll see how many words I trip over this weekend. That I know how he slows things down. I just start making stuff up. But the plan is. Myself, Cameron Frymark, who we heard from last year, of course, the local superstar that not only does all the calling of
we got
cards.
Cameron?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, see, you just don't know what's going on. Cameron's all locked in, and he'll be joining us. I'm going to let him do most of the talking, and should be really good this weekend.
Yes, I do plan on doing Smash Cuts just for our patrons, just for the SmashBoxxTV patrons. So keep an eye out on that. That should be nice and smooth. Thank you, Jeremy Stewart. We are excited for WACO as well.
Jeremy Stewart, our first super chatter of the night.
All right, well, let's talk about a little PDGA action. We've got some events that happened this past weekend. We've got the St. Patrick's Classic presented by Innova. That's being held over in Orangevale, California. We have James Proctor, not a name you hear at the top very often. He's always kind of in that, I'd say, top 10, but you don't hear him taking down some of the bigger ones over Tyler Grady, Lewis Bittney, Josh Anthon, Kyle Normand, Drew Gibson, Garrett Gerthy. He beat them all. Just
Matt Bell
smacked him down. He actually only won by a single stroke. But James Proctor shot a 10-14, a 10-51, and a 10-11, taking home $1,210, shooting 29 under par, followed up by, like I said, Tyler Grady at 28, with Lewis Bittney at 28. 26 was Kyle Normand and Josh Anthon. And we've got Chris Shotwell, didn't shoot well enough, Andrew Gibson, Garrett Gerthy, and Nick Wood all at 25. And I did hear from a little bug, Nick Wood would have had fourth, wrapped up all to himself, but he forgot to add up his scorecard. So he got a 2-stroke penalty.
I saw that there was a scoring error, but I didn't know exactly. It was an omission of putting down a number.
That is what I've heard.
Okay. I saw him make a post on it, and I didn't dig all the way into it on Facebook. But I did see him say that there was some kind of scoring mishap, and I just didn't read what it was.
So I could be wrong, but that is what I heard. So
add up your scorecard.
Sorry, Nick. It cost him about $300, $250 to $300. All right, so let's going into the Open Women. We have taking down the field by 5 strokes, Lisa Fakis beating her arch rival, Jessica Weiss. Jessica Weiss shot 1 over par. Leslie Todd came in third at 4 over par, followed up by Nicole Bradley, Melody Weibel, and Lauren Butler. So congratulations, ladies. Women? Congratulations, women.
Yep. Get it straight.
Now, is it just the division, or are we referring to the people that way too? There's a big debate going on about whether or not we should be referring to them as women or ladies or the divisions themselves. Is it, it's the FPO, so it's the female pro open. I don't know. It's women's tees versus ladies' tees. Just figure it out yourselves, people. Anyway, our open women, Lisa Fakis, shooting a 988, a 952, and a 950, all 3 ratings above her current 940.
Speaking of ratings, didn't the new PDGA ratings come out today?
Did they? I don't know.
I saw
I never check anymore.
It was like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I was scrolling through Facebook, and someone had said something about their rating, and I was like, oh, it must be one of those days. And I didn't look into it myself either, because I don't really care. But it probably would be good to know where. I think it's always interesting, at least, to just see where Paul and Ricky are, because they've been so close. 2 of the only people we've seen recently in that 1050 type category, so on and so forth. But I did not look.
You said ratings, and Chuck Kennedy shows up on our board with a big yes. All right, so we're going to move on the other side of the country a little bit, and the 25th annual City of Mobile Championships presented by Dynamic Disc. Now, it has been
it's been a minute.
It's been a hot minute. I think we were at the 5th annual.
That sounds about right. It's 2018.
The 5th or the 6th?
I think we were at maybe both,
or
the
maybe,
5th and the 6th. We played in that event back-to-back years.
We did do back-to-back
on
years,
spring breaks, when Johnny and I were so wild and crazy that we, for spring breaks, when everybody else in college went to Mexico or Florida or some other crazy place to go drinking and partying.
We went to the Earlwood Classic.
The
City of Mobile Championships.
Yes.
The Sarasota.
The All-State Springtime Open, I think it was called. We went to the Lexington Open.
So ahead of our time, and we were such badasses. I mean, really.
Yes.
Nothing says excitement when you get back from spring break and everyone's, tan or sunburnt, and you're like, yeah, me too. And they're like, oh, what beach did you hang out at? I'm like, didn't.
We played 14 different new courses.
That was
which
amazing.
was
or 17.
Mind-numbing at the 17.
Time. We would just drive until we found a course. And you're like, yeah, we found a course. Let's play this one. He had a big fat book to do it. So shout out to Steve Harmeyer. Appreciate the $5 super chat. Love it. All right, so taking down this one, Old Faithful himself, Cameron Todd. 29 under par. You know, it's not his first rodeo here, as we said.
No, and interestingly enough, not only is I see that he's below 1,000, which is something that kind of jumped out at me, but also, obviously, he's Masters eligible. He's been able to play there for a couple years now, and he's right there with the young guns and taking down a $1,500 first place.
He was probably close to winning it when we were there 20 years ago.
He was, because it was Ron Russell and Brad Hammock and Worm and Cam Todd were and River Sherrod were all the hot studs back in that time 20 years ago.
So Cam Todd shooting a 29 under par, followed up by Matt Oram at a 27 under par. Charlie Goodpasture, 24. Joshua Patton, 23. Cam Todd took home $1,500 for that victory, followed up by Matt Oram's $1,100. That's some pretty solid cash prizes there in the open field. And in the open women, Madison Walker taking down an A-tier win for $700, followed up by Brandy Myers, Sandy Gast, Haley Childs, Ashton Wade. So Madison wins by a comfy 9 strokes, shooting a 924, a 904, and a 956, dropping some big numbers there for her.
Wowzers. Nice work, Mads.
All right, let's look at a couple other events we have here.
Anything else big that jumps out at us?
I heard there was an event, 16th annual Crush on the Concho. Taking down that was Kevin Jones, beating Texas's Bradley Williams by a stroke, and Colin Montgomery, followed up by Landon Knight, Emerson Keith, and the disc golf boy, A.J. Risley. So Kevin Jones shooting a 51 and a 50 and a 53. I was going to say all three above his rating, but honestly, he's the lowest rated 1,004 rated player that we know of, because easily right now he's playing like he's about 1,015 to 1,020.
Go ahead. So I believe that was his rating as of this weekend. Click on him now, and does his rating...
His rating jumped to 1,010. So he jumped up, 6 points. Is that... If I can do the math.
Some good math.
Yep. I couldn't remember if it was 1,004 or 1,006.
Minus 1,004.
Hey, math is tough. Math is tough. Wow. I clicked on his name, and you can see the upcoming events is just nothing but tournaments coming up. So it's really exciting. So he's 1,010 right now, but this weekend he was 1,004. So congratulations to Kevin Jones. He is a steal on the fantasy disc golf right now if you can get a hold of him. So, and in the open women, taking that field down, shooting 16 over par, was Katrina Allen, beating Ellen Widboom, Stephanie Vincent, and Rebecca Cox. So congratulations. Katrina's shooting 956, 930, and 917. So all of them under her rating and winning by 4 strokes.
And speaking of Rebecca Cox, I believe she was one of the fan votes that we are going to see in the featured card. I'm going to look really dumb and sound like an idiot if that's not true, but I believe that's what I saw. If I go to the Disc Golf Pro Tour found on the Facebooks, I thought that's what that's what I saw earlier, is that she was one of the fan votes that we're going to see on the first round featured women's card. On the men's side, it's going to be Jeremy Colling, James Conrad, Eric Oakley, and Kevin Jones. And as soon as this comes up for me on the women's side, I know I saw it posted there a little bit earlier. On the women's side, we have Paige Pierce, Lisa Fakis, Rebecca Cox, and Sarah Holcomb. So
awesome. And I would be remiss if I didn't just mention this. I know he's driving cross country, getting into that Texas. He's about 3 hours out. Our good friend of the show, Robert McCall, takes down a victory this weekend, beating Kyle Webster and Benjamin Biggins, Andrew Presnell, and Benjamin Lorsden. So congratulations, Robert McCall, dropping what looked like, I think, 1,023 and 1,013. So
he, as of this weekend, was rated 992. I believe there's conversation about him getting to that 1,000 mark.
He's climbing that
and
ladder.
What is he at now?
994.
994. So obviously this weekend, for those of you that don't realize, there's usually about a 2 to 3 week buffer between, there's a cutoff. So it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe even 3-4 weeks ago, when any event had to have their results posted and into the PDGA officially in order for it to have any chance to count on the next ratings update. So if someone played this weekend, regardless of what they shot, it was not making it into the ratings update that came out today. It's always that 2 to 3-ish weeks buffer. So
We won't bring up the 992 and the 988 he shot another day this weekend, taking fifth.
Great hair, don't care. It's McCall. Nice work out there, buddy. Congratulations.
Good job.
And Bobby Brown's on the board says, yeah, Robert plays good sometimes, McCall.
Oh, wow. Which is better than Bobby, you, and me right now, which plays good never. Right now we've got some issues. So, all right, so congratulations to all our winners this weekend. You know who's not going to probably win this weekend?
Well, yeah, I know a few people that aren't.
Let me scroll. Simon Lizotte. It's going to be tough. He's been on social media, and last I heard, he said that due to the nor'easter and the 10 to 12 inches of snow they're supposed to get, it's going to be extremely difficult for him to get to WACO.
I have an update. A SmashBox exclusive.
Tell me your SmashBox exclusive.
It sounds like he is going to make it.
So is he?
He then later posted, so you're a couple hours behind.
Oh,
just that he later posted and said, it looks like we may have gotten the last possible flights out. They are available. Ooh. We may have gotten the last possible flights out, and we should be getting out tomorrow night, as in Wednesday night, and we are scheduled to make it. So unless they cancel the flight itself, he has tickets. He is planning on getting out. He is planning on being there. I think he said something about he's not going to get any practice in before it, but at least he'll be there, and he'll be able to be there to play. So
wow. Okay,
I know you had said that. I know we talked about it, and then a little later, it was in fact clarified. As of now, on Facebook, he says he'll be there. Okay. So my only pro tip would be just be safe and don't put him in your fantasy lineup, or go ahead and put him in your fantasy lineup and he could win it. But I know I'm not going to pick him.
I would not pick him, only because if he doesn't show up, you're getting that alternate, which always is behind your lower rated player, and he's such a high rated player, so it's going to be tough to make that up. But he could come out and win. So really flip a coin on that one. Does Simon need the practice? I don't know if he's played. Did he play last year? I don't think he did. I think he missed WACO last year because we had Jeremy Coling and
James Conrad
take first and second. So, maybe he was there. In my head, I confuse that one and Jonesboro a lot. So
I don't know.
They all run together at this point. So anyway, be wary on him.
Well, that's the news and update on Lizotte. Well, I think we can quit talking about all this action, and we have a very special guest that's going to be joining us here tonight. We're going to see if she's going to be ready in a few moments. 4-time women's world champion and commentator extraordinaire, just trying to show up. That guy that lives in the house with her, she shows him up in world titles, and now it sounds like she might be showing him up on the mic.
Is it like a one-up kind of thing? Like, oh, look at you, Nate. Look what I can do.
She does it better.
Oh, that's not.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's very apparently.
From what we heard from everybody, Nate wasn't very good.
Well, Val was great. So for those that don't know what I'm referencing, this last weekend when I was able to finally get all the finalization up and all the details and the rounds posted for last weekend's Memorial Championships presented by Discraft, in the women's full post-production rounds, I was able to reach out to and secure both Valarie Jenkins and Madison Walker to do commentary with me each time. And so Val ultimately commentated on rounds 1, 3, and 4. Madison commentated on round 2. Then she ran off and won some A-tier and was busy, apparently. But they were both amazing. They were both great to have. And as so many others have said, they love it when women commentate on women's golf. And I couldn't agree more. So just everyone know out there, that is something that we're very much working towards. Val and I will talk a little bit about it here soon. But we're working towards that solution to ultimately always have that be the situation. This weekend, I was a little bit more of the facilitator just to get things going and to make sure stuff happens. But if we can get to a point where I can set someone else up with all of the correct details and technology, I'd much rather have 1 or 2 or 3 other women all do that post-production commentary.
It makes sense.
That's
They're
very
much
much the plan.
than you.
Yeah, well, that goes without saying.
No, it didn't. I had to say it.
Oh, yeah, because I'm not smart.
All right.
SD Disker, thank you for the super chat. We very, very much appreciate it. So if we can get Val, I think she's hopefully on the internets. I know. Originally, we told her roughly 10:30 her time. Then we said we might be able to move it up. And then we talked too long, and so we're just about where we originally were. But I think we're going to have her in just a moment on the Skypes, and then we'll be able to talk to her. Christy on the board said you should definitely talk to Elaine King again. She really enjoyed the Hall of Fame commentary. I second and triple that as well. There's a lot of different people that we'll be talking about and trying to get into the fold. So without further ado, our 4-time women's world champion and best DOS commentator in the game, Valarie Jenkins, DOS.
That is a huge compliment. I'll take that.
Those are what the trophies behind you are for, right?
Yeah,
commentating,
yeah.
like just people send them to you.
I did 3 rounds at the memorial, but I only got 2 in the mail, so I think the 3rd one's coming.
I'm sure it is.
If there's anyone that doesn't do well on trophies deliveries, it's this guy. I mailed one out from December 31st today.
I laugh so hard because it's so true. There are so many times I hear about, like, 3 weeks later, Terry, you're like, I got to get this trophy out to this guy.
Just trophies are the death of me, and they're going to chase me out of running tournaments, but it doesn't matter. Val, welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing good. And speaking of trophies, when did we get that one from your tournament when Nate and I traveled there last year?
You got a first place trophy. That's all that matters. And it's a great trophy.
He shaved it, by the way. So he saved on shipping. So it goes back into this year's tournament, right?
Yeah. You guys just need to show up for some more Sky PA.
There we go.
So,
sounds good.
Val, we're going to talk about a lot of different things, but let's get right to something very important, and that's, of course, the women's global event that's happening every other year. It's a major undertaking. You work so diligently along with a ton of sponsors, the PDGA, and just a lot of other resources out there. Tell everyone where we're at and give us some great updates.
Well, I always feel like this is the biggest tongue twister that I have to do on any show or talking to any media. But to describe the women's global event, it is a virtual women's tournament that consists of smaller satellite tournaments that are run around the world, all over different countries, involving women and having women tournament directors and in trying to encourage more women to come out. And that's what makes it the largest women's disc golf tournament that the PDGA has ever seen. So, yeah, this year is going to be really exciting. This is the 4th edition of the Women's Global Event. And like you said, it runs every other year. So our first one was in 2012. And so, yeah, we're really excited for this to get going on May 12th this year.
May 12th, which is Mother's Day weekend, which it has been, I believe, all 4 iterations of it.
I think we skipped it 1 year. It was some kind of complication, but that's typically what we like to do. We like to make it, a whole weekend devoted to women, and the most important women in our lives.
Exactly. And we just celebrated International Women's Day recently. Is that correct?
Yep, exactly. On March 8th.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't need the exact numbers because I don't know if you have them handy or not, but we've seen this grown tremendously over these previous 3 years, and now we're looking at the growth for this 4th time. Give us kind of, if you don't have the specifics, give us even some of the rough percentages of what we're seeing.
Yeah, I tried to get the percentages and try to get all those specific numbers, but according to what our last count was, we have 25 plus states. We have exactly 59 countries. So that's what we had in 2016. So we're at that number, and I look forward to more events. I know there's a lot of other events that are committed verbally or through email. So there's going to be more events than 2016 for sure. Right now we have 6 countries, and in 2016 we had 10. So we're almost there. And right now we only have about half the players that we did in 2016. So we're at about 646 players. Well, no, specifically, we're at 646. So this year, our goal is to get 2,000 players. Every year that we've seen the Women's Global Event be run, we have been growing by 50% each year. So it's a pretty steady growth each year. And I based our goals that we've been promoting on our social media on those. And so I think we can hit the 2,000 mark. We got a ton of events all around the world. We have, I was counting how many countries. Yeah, we had 6, but there's 2 events being run in Australia. There's 2 events right now being run in Finland. We're in Canada, Croatia, Slovakia, and Germany right now.
Wow.
How cool is that?
That's awesome. I mean, truly making this the global event that we've always called it. It's great that through the technology and through the process of ratings that we're able to see this competition on a global level. Can you kind of break down how that really works? I mean, I know how it works, but I'm sure you explain it more eloquently than I
do. Every tournament has to hold 2 rounds of 18 holes. And those, based on the PDGA rating system, those rounds are calculated. And then, so we take the ratings, add them together as the woman's total global score. And then that's what we compare to other players in that division from around the world.
Okay, so
and do we know how to play? And the player ratings, that gets more technical on how those actually work, but that's the basis that we can do. And that's disc golf's way of creating kind of a handicap, or creating, leveling the playing field based on the players that are playing your tournament and the skill level, and all sorts of super complicated things that we'll have to have Chuck Kennedy explain someday.
Well, and I think we all know. Everyone can argue one way or another about the intricacies or the details or whatever, but when it's all said and done, we're looking at anywhere between 1,000 and 2,000 competitors, most likely, that will have this base level of being able to compare one versus another. And if you, for instance, are in California and you shoot 960 and 980 golf, your rating for the day is 970, and somebody that's in Australia, Cassie, perhaps, who's celebrating her birthday today, happy birthday, she shoots 990 and 980 golf, and she averages 985 for the day. She, in the global scale, would have topped you in that case. And then we just kind of do that, and it's broken down by all of the different women's divisions that are offered. Is that a good summary?
That was exactly correct, yes. Yeah.
It's really exciting to see, again, so many different... Are you able at all? I know you've been really busy, and the Daisy Chains is this great event out in California that you've been actively, helping run and be a part of. Are you able throughout the day, though, to consume any of what's going on in the rest of the world as that day unfolds?
Since the first year, I haven't had much input on the Daisy Chains. I'm just there. They always want me to be the player. They don't want me to help out anymore. But they do an amazing job. So it's fun to be a player at that tournament and reap all the amazing benefits of them spoiling the ladies that come out to play. So I don't know. I'm just kind of embracing that day as a player. And later on that day, I pull up the scores. And for Sunday's round, so Daisy Chains is a 2-day tournament, even though it's involved in the women's global event. So Sunday, I always print out, I think it's like 40 pages of all the results, and I post about it, Daisy Chains, so the ladies can see how they placed among the women all around the globe. So it's really cool. And so at that point, we're still figuring out the scores. Tournaments are still turning in their scores, so it takes a couple of days. But this year we have a deadline on that to get the scores in by Monday, because there's a lot of anxious women out there that want to see how they placed. And with today's world and technology, I think we can do it a little bit quicker and, get these results to these ladies.
Awesome. Name a few of the newer events that maybe jumped out at you. I think you just mentioned a few, maybe in a few new countries, but are there any new events or new promoters that have come up and jumped onto the radar this year that you took note of?
Yeah, and I know that Utah is on board for sure this year. We just did a social media shout out to the ladies out in Utah. So that's the first time they've ever run a women's global event. For some reason, we haven't had an event in South Carolina. And so Sarah Nicholson will be running that. And this will be her 4th different state to run a women's global event in. So she's been busy. She's been traveling so much and living in different places. So having an event in South Carolina, and she's been a member of the women's committee since the very beginning. So it's really cool to see her continue to grow disc golf in all these different states that she's in. Places like Slovakia, Croatia, those are new countries for us. And there's a bunch of countries a bunch of different states in like the North Midwest. I'm not sure what we call it, but we need Montana on board. We need Wyoming, the Dakotas. So we need to get up there in the United States. We need to start covering some more ground. I think we want to get, what's our goal? I think we want to have about 30 different states. So that's covering good ground.
How many last year? Do you know?
26.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a few opportunities out there. So everyone that's out there listening, go out and see where your closest one is. And if you think, that's too far, I don't want to go there, maybe you should run one yourself. Where do people go if they want more information about not just running an event, but playing an event, or the sponsors, or some of the steps that are taken? Where does everyone need to go when they want to research it?
So the website we have is pdga.com. I don't know if you've heard of that, but /WGE. And we have it right above my head, actually, but that's the longer version. So we got a shortened one. But Johnny B's on top of it, of course.
Yeah, that, or as she said, pdga.com/WGE, and that will get you there as well. Awesome.
Exactly. And yeah, we're all over every social media. So if you send us a message through there or send us an email through that website, we'll be able to answer it for you. And yeah, it's set up for the brand new players, the brand new tournament directors. So it's an introductory tournament for everybody. So we are open to help you out in any way we can. And yeah, we hope you come out, and we hope you run a women's global event. They're literally everywhere. So hopefully there's one near you.
What are a few of the tips, or whether you're a first-time tournament director or maybe you've been doing it for a lot of years, what are some of the tips to encourage participation at this event?
Well, I think the first step is promotion, getting it out there, everybody's setting up a Facebook event page these days, so that's the easiest way. Making sure that you're getting out there and still doing the old school flyer on the bulletin board. There's women that come out to your local course every single day, probably, more than likely it's with their husband or boyfriend, or they're not playing with a lot of women, so they don't get these opportunities. But to see something like that on a bulletin board could really spark the interest of somebody that you've never approached on the course before. So I think those two ways are the easiest to get the word out. And a lot of places are running women's leagues. So once you get the little interest going, maybe you can start up a league leading up to the women's global event to gain more interest. Get these women kind of practicing and preparing for their first tournament, perhaps. So, yeah, hopefully we can get more introductory people running tournaments. And then we've seen so many women's tournaments blossom into years following the women's global event. So on these off years, those events just continue to run because the women want that event to be there. They love the atmosphere that a women's global or a women's tournament in general creates. Like I said, there's not a lot of opportunities that some women get to play with other women, and that's really important, I think, to help facilitate more women playing.
Well, and I know it sounds a little bit cheesy or all too obvious, but if every woman that has played in the past decides they just want to bring one new player, that's never maybe played an event, a coworker, a friend, or a relative, just bring out one other female competitor, and obviously the numbers will double. That's some quick math again. But it's just so easy to do just that. Just bring out one person that's never played. I think one of the reasons why this is so successful is because, as you said, you're surrounded by a bunch of other women. Hopefully the intimidation factor isn't as great, if any, when you're out there. And it's so warm and inviting, and everyone's there to have a good time and just enjoy themselves and enjoy the day. And both men and women alike all around the country are doing everything they can to ensure that is happening. You wouldn't be running a women's global event if you weren't passionate about the cause, about the reason, and about the potential outcome. So just grab one person that's never played or has thought about or has been on the fence. If you can just convince one person, we'll double our numbers.
Yeah.
And then there's an MLM I'd like to talk to you about as we grow the pyramid up. But seriously, it's just bring someone out. Who are you going to bring out new this year? I'm going to put you on the spot, Val. Who's a new player, new person you've never brought before?
I have a friend in California that I keep inviting every year, and she had a little boy back in 2012, and now he is grown up, so he can watch himself. So I hope Chastity Nilmeyer comes out and plays in Daisy Chains. It's right down the road, so this is calling you out, Chas.
Wow. That sounds
Get
pretty
out there and
serious.
play. And my local elementary school friend, so she's got them on her Women's Global Event page, and I'm like, Mom, you know they don't play, but she's inviting everybody, so hopefully they'll get out and play too this year.
So right now you're in Ohio. You weren't in attendance at the memorial. You've been hanging out with your family. Where, if someone's in Ohio, speak a little bit about your home base there. Where are kind of the local ones to anyone in the Ohio area specifically?
Well, I'm going to ensure that it's going to be the best one in Ohio is the one that my mom's running. That's at our local course at Roscoe Ewing, and it's called the Scarlet Open. So if you want to sign up, it's on Disc Golf Scene. I helped her make a flyer today. And there's also one being run in Columbus. That's a mixed tournament. And then there's one in Cincinnati as well. There might be one in Toledo, but I'm a little biased, so I'm going to go with the Medina event.
No, but I mean, what's great about what you just said is all of those. I mean, the fact that there's 2 or 3 or 4 or more in Ohio alone taking place.
Away from each other. Yeah.
That's awesome. It should be a little rivalry, see who can get the most competitors within Ohio.
Exactly. There we go. Like this.
How many years has your mom been in charge of that one?
They've been running it for every year. Yeah, my mom's always supporting me in this and everything I do in disc golf. So, yep, they've been on board since the first year.
And then back at your other home base, back out in Bend, for anyone that's listening out on that side, where are some of the closest or most regional ones out there?
I think most people are headed to the event that the Chick Flick runs. So that's in the Portland area. They're always leading in the one of the largest non-virtual women's disc golf tournaments in the country. So I'm sure they have the 2 courses running at Horning's Hideout, and yeah, that's going to be a big one. They love doing, making a huge event about it. And I hope to get out there someday. They run their actual tournament in August, but their Women's Global Event is, of course, in May. But it's always a good time out there. I hear great stories.
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of people signed up for the North Plains one, and then there's also one in Dexter. So
nice. Yeah, I think Rebecca Duffy will be running that one. Nice. So they're 3 hours away from each other. So that's a good distance, and it's good, for these women that don't have a chance to travel, traveling 3 hours in a day, 3 hours there, 3 hours back, that's 6 hours of driving. And so it's nice to have these local events. Even though their attendance might not be as big if they combined them, it's still great to offer that, to make it a more local feel for these ladies.
Awesome. Now, we always talk about this being an every other year event. Explain to everyone why that is.
Well, it initially started because it was such a huge event in the first year, and they were redoing the PDGA website. So we kind of put things on a hold just to get our feet back under us. And yeah, we ask a lot of our sponsors. This year we have 41 sponsors, and I do have them all written down, and I can go through them. And but it's amazing because we ask so much of them because we have so many events going on. We have so many players, and we like to supply something for all these people. So it really takes a lot out of our sponsors to, help us out in that way. And so we don't want to overdo it. Their sponsors are already donating to so many tournaments every single year. And this is a big one. And so we want to make it special and kind of build up that momentum in those off years as well.
Well, and sometimes, as much as we all love all of our disc golf sponsors, we have a ton of them that are so great to us on the show. Obviously, the Pro Tour and all the different tours have them. Individual events have them. Like you said, if you go to the well too often, though, sometimes they may hesitate a little bit, and understandably so. Our manufacturers are our biggest sponsors. and then everyone else that's within disc golf, when you look at a Miles at Paragon or whomever, and all of the next tier of non-manufacturers but actively involved, we're just constantly asking of them so much. I think we're all hoping for that day when there's multi-million-dollar sponsors that are falling out of the sky that aren't in disc golf, but it is great.
Money. I'm looking for those sponsors too.
Which ones?
The ones that all they can provide is money.
Oh,
that's all we have to provide you. So this year, I want to mention it's different because in the previous years we've done physical players packages that we have shipped out to each event and then distributed them from there. But it was such a logistical nightmare for us, the sponsors getting all their stuff there on time, and then it cost so much in shipping. So to kind of help out our sponsors, to bring people to their websites, support them for supporting us, we are creating what we're calling the Virtual Players Pack. And so every player in the Women's Global event will have access to this hidden link, and it will have discounts and coupons and great things specifically for those Women's Global event competitors. So yeah, we have amazing discounts from the PDGA, Discraft, MVP, Innova, DGA, Flying Colors Disc Golf, Disc Nation, Friction Gloves, Huck Lab, Ladies First Disc Golf, Throw Pink, Nailed It Disc Golf, and D-Curve Sunglasses. And that's just what's in the players packs. Yeah, we have amazing prizes. So those will be actual physical prizes that get mailed to your house if you are one of the top three finishers in the overall Women's Global event. The grand biggest prize, the first place prize, is going to be a pink Zuka cart embroidered with the Women's Global event logo on it.
Very cool.
I'm really excited about that. It's going to be sweet. And for the second place in every division is going to be a Grip Equipment BX Series bag. And then third place will be a Keen Footwear free shoe card. And then for every of the top three, we'll get a Disc Diva trophy, as well as Discmania coupons to use at their store. So got some pretty cool prizes. And aside from what's given out at every local Women's Global event for their individual tournaments, there's prizes there too. So.
You said virtual players pack, so all I thought is virtual trophies sound like a good idea. That maybe I should look into those.
Just send someone like a fancy picture.
Never mind. I've got my own. I've got my own tournament directing problems. So the undertaking that this is, where do you align in terms of the things you have to do with the PDGA? I'm sure. I mean, you're obviously always doing all this behind the scenes work. I'm guessing you have this entire committee that assists you in this. What are some of the kind of the behind the scenes things that have to take place that maybe, as we're thinking about 1,500, 2,000 competitors, we think about what that means. What does that mean to you behind the scenes?
Well, that was me reaching out to 40 plus different sponsors. And that's, 10 plus emails to each of those people, phone calls, trying to figure out how that's all going to be organized, figuring out the website and all the details, because it's kind of a complicated event, and making sure that 60 different tournaments are all on the same page, that can get kind of confusing. So that's where we start. We have two ladies that are on the women's committee, Julie Fradella and Jenny Sanfilippo, that have been killing it on social media. And I think that's one of our biggest draws. Social media promotions are basically free. And these ladies have been posting something really cool every single day on our Instagram account and our Facebook page. It's so much fun. So we have testimonials from women that started playing they played their first Women's Global event. That was their first tournament ever. And now they're traveling all around the country and they're obsessed. You have women that are giving their testimonials saying it's gonna be their first time, and they're so excited to take that chance, and kind of encouraging other ladies to sign up as well. All sorts of things. So these ladies are doing a really good job. So if you haven't followed or liked those pages, head over and search for the PDGA Women's Global Event. That's a huge undertaking that they've taken off of my plate, and they've been doing a great job at that. So yeah, we have some really cool things coming up on the social media as well. Now we're only 2 months away from the Women's Global Event happening, so we're going to have a bunch of giveaways. So the Facebook followers, all the events are going to be a certain giveaway. I think I'm frozen. Oh, there we go. Yep. We'll do a random players draw. We'll have all sorts of things, so make sure you go over to those pages and like them.
This might sound crazy, but is there an end goal? Is there an upper limit? Is there any finish line in what you're doing here with the global event?
I don't think we should limit ourselves.
Okay.
I'm going to stick with that. Every year I just try and kind of figure out a way to simplify it a little bit more. I've been on the chairwoman of the PDGA Women's Committee since we started it back in 2012. And so I'm looking for kind of that, I need to pass this along. I need somebody else to kind of take the reins. And with so much going on and so much to organize, you can't just hand off a book and say, hey, now this is your responsibility. I started it, but here's the stack of papers, and I'm sure you can do it. I want to make it as simple as possible so that they can continue to run this event every other year.
Well, if anyone could hand off a book, from what I know, it would be you, because that book would be very detailed. It would have all the specifics. It would have everything that people need to know with great notes. You're meticulous in all of those things that you do. So if there was a manual or a guideline or a book, I'd want you to write it because you're on top of so many things. All right. Is there anything else on the global event that we need to touch on or give people updates on?
Let's see. I mean, I'm sure there's a million things. We have sweet apparel coming out of Paragon. We have disc golf pins that already have stuff that they have actual women's global event pins out there right now that you can buy for your tournament. But yeah, just head over to our social media page. We are sharing all the information we can about any part of the women's global event and any information you need to know. It'll be out there for you.
I'll ask then one specific one is when it comes to registrations, deadlines, cutoffs. I know having a virtual player pack is probably going to eliminate a few of what would have been the headaches we've seen in years past or some of the challenges maybe. When is it all up to a local individual event as to when there's going to be a cutoff for registration? What would you, obviously, I know you want everyone to go out and register for their event today, but what should people be planning for?
Well, we have our deadline for events to register will be officially on April 22nd. But our closest, so we have event sponsors that will be sending out. So we got Friction Gloves and Prodigy right now that are event sponsors. So they'll be sending out a little care package to each and every event that signs up by March 22nd. So that's our first upcoming deadline. And as for players registering, that's kind of based on your local tournament. We will accept players that sign up day of, but your local tournament might not. So, yeah, we want to accept as many women as possible, but, you know, the organizing standpoint as a tournament director, you might not want to do that. So check with your local tournament, see what's going on. But it's always best to pre-register just to help those people out.
Okay, and that's something that you certainly want to investigate and make sure that you're very clear with, because every event is going to be just a little bit different. Some may close the registration a few days ahead of time. Some may be taking them all the way up until that morning, on the morning of the event. Some might already be full, exactly. Yeah. So make sure that you look into that, and you're all good to go on that end.
Exactly.
Again, pdga.com/WGE is where people can find all of the information in terms of the events, the registrations, everything that's going on. Shout-outs and sponsors and details are all out there and available. Yeah. Anything else on that?
I don't think so.
I just want to make sure we give you every possible outlet. You need to name more sponsors. We'll listen to them.
Who else do we got in here? Oh, Disc Golf for Women. They're going to be a sponsor. So these are part of the giveaway. So I'll be donating some discs. Disc Golf Strong. They're actually getting Nate back into shape, even though he had to pull out of the Memorial. He's going to be doing some training with Disc Golf Strong, but they are donating 3 individualized disc golf training programs. So I think it's all through video, back and forth through Skype, and he sends you different exercises that you can do. So we'll be giving those away. Dynamic Discs right now, you talked about deadlines. Dynamic Discs is giving us 2 H2O Ranger bags, and one of them we'll be giving away. We'll randomly draw an event that has registered before March 22nd, and we'll send that out, and they can use it however they want. They can give it out at their event or have a raffle for it or whatever. So that's really cool. Rodan Fields will be giving a beauty gift package.
Nice.
So that'll be a cool thing to give away on our social media page. Yeah, I got and SmashBox, you're one of our sponsors. I talked to you today, Terry. We're going to be doing some promotional videos. I watched a lot of your video this weekend and did some fun commentary. So hopefully we'll get some cool videos out there to just kind of continue to promote women playing and get women out there trying our sport.
Where I know we've talked a lot about Daisy Chains. That's where I filmed a couple of years ago. Had a really great time being able to see that event. I've attended the Phoenix Ladies Open in November as a women's only event. There's been a number of them that I've been to, and they're all amazing. And all obviously the Rocky Mountain Women's, as we've both been to, again, an amazing experience. Where do you think you will be? Is part A, and then part B would be where do you know where a few of our other top level professional women will be playing that weekend?
I think that, I'm going to be at Daisy Chains.
Okay.
And I think that probably Sarah Hokum will be at Daisy Chains. Paige will probably be there. They've been there the last couple of years. It's May, and we're all in California, so a lot of us are going to be heading toward the West Coast or somewhere around there, I imagine, because we have a lot of the national tours and the Disc Golf Pro Tours out that way. So the top ladies are going to have to follow wherever the tour leads us.
And that's exactly what I was, I guess, assuming or hinting at, is that Daisy Chains taking place in California. Pinto Lake probably is where it's going to be again. Is that correct?
Yep.
Is that where it always is?
Yeah.
So with Masters Cup going on, with the San Francisco Open going on a few weeks later, obviously that entire West Coast swing. So when people say, where will some of our top-level pros be, it makes, from a logistical standpoint, I think that's why another reason why we see so many of them specifically at the Daisy Chains event. And, of course, they're going to be spread out everywhere. But if you're talking like some of the names you just mentioned, more than likely California, simply because of well, it's a great event, so I don't want to say simply because, but it falls in line with the tour and the tour schedule, so it should be pretty awesome out there. All right, so you mentioned a few moments ago you did watch a lot of video, and of course I have to thank you yet again. It was awesome having you co-commentate and do a lot of the work for the Memorial Championships footage that was just released in the last few days. You ended up helping me out on rounds 1, 3, and 4. Right. And I'll just generically say, and you're not going to hurt my feelings, but it was your first time ever commentating, which some were really surprised by, myself included. How did that feel to you?
Which part? The people were
the commentating?
Surprised,
no, the actual commentating. How did that feel to commentate on fellow competitors, women you're typically up against every weekend, courses like the back of your hand, you've been playing for 15 years. How did it feel from a distance, in this case from Ohio, to be watching footage that took place and then calling those shots on your fellow peers?
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Like I said, I know those courses so well. I've been going to that tournament for about 15 years straight. And so I know those holes really well, but it was funny because this is the first year that they've switched up some tees and some baskets. So a lot of those, threw me for a loop, and I had to kind of adjust my game plan, saying like what I might have done on that shot if I had the chance. And there were a lot of them that I wish I did have the chance, because I thought there were a lot of great course changes and improvements for the women to be playing. It was easy though. I thought it was really fun, and I haven't listened to it, and and of course we were giving Nate feedback on his commentary, so of course we're telling him things to improve on. But I don't know how it went. I don't know if people liked it. I'm sorry if you didn't, but I thought it was fun, and yeah, hopefully you'll invite me back again. I'll work on my game, and we'll get back to it.
You can get some tips from Nate. I'm sure he'd be happy to hand them out.
It was.
I didn't have any nicknames. I actually gave Nate all those nicknames, so I used them all up. So I'll have to get a new stock of names, and it won't be too hard.
No, you were very, very, it's no surprise. You were very well received by all of the comments on YouTube and on Facebook. Clearly, people want to hear women commentate on women's footage, for starters, which I totally agree with and would love to help make happen and facilitate. And then you are, of course, very natural. You know the game, you know those courses, and you know what's going on. So it was awesome to have you doing that. And as I said to you, and as I said at the top of the show, we'd love to find a way to make it so it's always women commentating. Some people didn't realize there was a part that I ended up telling you about in with this third-party application. When it kind of auto-mixed your version with my version, it had me more or less talking over you in 2 or 3 very distinct spots. And a couple of people had commented and said, I don't believe, Terry, you're such a jerk. She should have been mad at you. You were talking right over her. And I'm like, no, I actually wasn't. It was just the way that it mixed it together, and that caused a little bit of a sync issue. So technology aside, it went, a minor technology issue. It went really smooth in that sense, and I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get that figured out. So,
you know what I thought was interesting too, because a lot of the commentary is done in. See, that's my new nickname too. Also, commentary. When people are sitting side by side, you can feed off that person, and when they're going to talk. You can just see like that maybe they flinch a little bit, and so you're not going to interrupt them. But for us, it was all done through our computers, and yeah, I didn't know when you were going to talk or when I was going to talk or when the free space would be. But I thought that was a really cool method, and I think it's going to be easier for you to get more people to volunteer to do commentary when you don't actually have to physically be in the same location. And yeah, I agree. We need to have more women commentating on women's disc golf, especially because we know each other's games so well. We've seen each other play, and we have that good, we know how the game plan is and the strategy is for the women players. Maybe you've seen all different kinds of golf, so you have a really good aspect on it. But I think that would really help. And even if it's not the top pro women commentating on it, I think they would still have really good insight. Maybe be even more excited on seeing big putts. So yeah, I think we could have a couple of more guest women commentary on these videos. I think that'd be great.
Well, and he's sitting so quietly next to me, but it was Johnny V that actually found this application that you and I used, Val. And if we can continue to, like I said, work through a few of the very minor kinks that they had. It's a paid service, and so far I've done a little bit of commentary with you, Madison, and with Dana, and they've all, for the most part, turned out great, aside from those tiniest little glitches. So if that can continue to happen and we can get more people to do it, I think it's a good way to do it. Someone had said, they're like, oh, I had no idea you and Val weren't in the same room or in the same place together. And I took that as it's kind of a compliment in the sense that it must sound pretty good if this is mixing it and putting it out there. So but it's great technology, and I think that's going to allow for 2 different women on 2 totally different ends of the country to potentially take footage I assemble and then fully commentate over the top of it, and then we get it put out that way. In a perfect world, I'll just to finish that point, in a perfect world, if time somehow allows, I may try to get two women, to commentate on site in person that weekend. That's kind of always ideal. It's just
Right.
I'm starting to run out of hours in the day in terms of making that happen and with schedules. But so in a perfect world, that's where someone like Jomez, when they cover one round and then the next morning they kind of have their schedule with the guys that they have come in. It's kind of become a routine, and then they're always there for an extra day if they need to be. And with me flying in and out sometimes, it just it adds to the challenge. But I think we'll work through it, and I think you and your mom would make a great team. I think that's should be a no-brainer at some point. And so many of these other women. And you suggested should we do some kind of, maybe you want to host some kind of auditions or something, or interview process? What should we do to get more women to possibly get in on it?
That would be kind of fun. Yeah, I mean, you had me interrupt. I didn't realize American Idol was back on. And so, yeah, maybe we should do something like that where they send in little videos of doing their audition and why they should be a guest commentator on SmashBox. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, there could be some interesting stuff. What we'll do is I'll put out like a 2 or 3 minute clip and then tell everyone, go, here's your clip, and now you commentate on it. And then I think we could discover some new talent that way.
There you go. Or at least make a good commercial.
That's true. And then I want to thank again Madison. As I said, she ended up commentating on round number 2, and then she ran off to win her A tier in Mobile this last weekend. So, but Val, you were available and graciously offered up your time, and were very patient with me through the process. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. Yeah, that was really fun.
Now, the real question is, to finish that off, Nate was excited and I think really enjoyed himself joining us on the live broadcast. But when I said something, or the comment was made about post-production, he's like, that doesn't sound exciting at all. Like, he already knows what happens. Maybe the two of you, maybe you could convince him to call a round in post-production? Or some event, some post-produced event that we put together. Maybe the two of you?
I mean, he's done it. He did, his first ever commentary was, I think, just last year at the Ledgestone.
Oh, okay.
So he did some post. Yeah. So don't let him fool you.
Okay. Well, he didn't seem overly excited about the idea. He wants the live action, but I think it'd be great to have the two of you do some post-production action as well. So either way, we'd love to.
We're expensive, though. When we're put together, yeah, the price goes up.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to work on that. How about I send you a trophy?
Yeah, I think we need one. It's fun to come back to. So this is, if anybody has seen, Avery's been doing a Discmania podcast every week.
Yep.
So this is the same location that he sits in. But yeah, this is our parents' collection of all the trophies that we have all won together. So it's pretty cool. We're on Avery's side, so these are Avery's trophies. I don't know what these are behind us.
I was gonna say, dare I ask, is it easy or possible to grab what you think is maybe one of the best looking or one of your favorite trophies, yours or anyone else's on Team Jenkins? Is there one that?
This isn't a trophy, but I don't know why that's right there.
What the duck?
Oh, look how this is the only. I wish I could grab the one that's over there, but it's Nate's the disc that you handed Nate when he won his first world title, and it says in real little like boy writing, it says to Val.
Aww.
Oh, but this says Team Jenkins, best family I've ever met. Thank you for always taking care of me. Aw.
What a way to suck up to the in-laws.
Jeez.
Or probably future in-laws when they did that.
I know, he was laying the foundation right
He
there.
was. What a smart guy.
Adorbs. That guy.
Yeah.
Gives
He's
you.
good.
He is. Is there anything else you want to share for us tonight or with us?
I don't know. I don't think so. It's so much fun in getting all this organized for the Women's Global event, but I know we still have so much to go, and there's only 2 months left, so that's where my mind is racing with disc golf right now. So, yeah, I
Okay.
can't think of any more.
Well, it's funny. You were talking earlier, and I looked down at the date on my computer, and I'm like 3/13. Yeah, we are just under that magic 2-month mark, and I'm sure you're feeling all the stresses and pressures, but yet have this great team that you've surrounded yourself with, and all these amazing women and volunteers, both men and women, that are making things happen all around the country, and obviously the PDGA filling a lot of the roles and doing a lot of the technology things that are required and necessary here. It's just a massive undertaking, and I really don't envy the amount of work you're putting into it, because it's pretty awesome. So,
are you running one this year, Terry? Throw you on the spot?
No, Jenny, that's fine. Jenny Sanfilippo. It was 2 years ago. I ran. I think one the first year, and then I think I ran one the second year, and then 2 years ago I was all slated to run one. And then I think Daisy Chains actually contracted me to come film. And at that point, I handed it off. And I think it was kind of Sergio and Jenny Sanfilippo locally kind of took over the reins of what I was going to do. And I'm sure they carried it out better than I was able to. So they've just secured that. This year, I'm hoping, and I believe, I think I'll be able to bring my 2 daughters to one wherever I am, presumably locally. So I'll probably bring my 2 daughters, actually. And
all right, so we are to 648 committed players for the women's global event, and growing.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully some more people get out there and get signed up tonight even, and partake. So that's about all that we got for you, Val. I think that's what people want to know, when we're going to see you in person next. The GBO?
I think that's the next one I have planned. Yeah, we'll be doing another collaboration beer with Radius, and it's a tri collaboration. And I don't know if we released the name of the third brewery that's going to be involved, but they are world renowned, and they're from that area, and they are huge disc golfers. So yeah, we'll be announcing it shortly, if not, if people don't already know. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a different beer, not typically our kind of style, but we're going to be releasing a beer with a little tartness to it. So yeah, we'll be releasing all that soon.
Okay.
Yes. And so, and speaking of beer, while I'm speaking of it, we have a location for our brewery. We're working on a lease right now, so it's still not official. We haven't signed on the dotted line, but it's looking better, and our future is looking more clear as every day progresses. Nate's been busy with meeting with architects and engineers and the owners of this property, and it's going to be a really sweet spot. And yeah, that's in Bend, Oregon. So hopefully we'll be opening our doors maybe by the end of this year. SmashBoxx will be doing live coverage from our grand opening or something.
Yeah, well, we can make it work.
We will make it happen.
That sounds good.
Seems like a no-brainer. Yeah, in talking to Nate about some of the things that you guys had in the works, everything sounded really good, and excited to hear about that. So we'll have to stay on top of it. As we move into the week of GBO and planning on seeing both you and Nate there, we'll definitely have you guys give us some updates. I think we're going to probably be doing nightly recap shows of sorts. So there might be beer in the locations we're at. There may not be, but I'm guessing we could have you guys step in and give us a few updates during that week as well. That'd be awesome.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, Val, thank you again. Thanks for all of the Women's Global event. Again, that's pdga.com/WGE. That's where you can find all of the information. And again, thank you for the help with the commentary. We look forward to reaching out more and having you and others join us in that realm as well. So we appreciate your time and all the updates.
Yeah, my pleasure. Have a good night, guys.
All right. Take
Thanks,
care. Have
Val.
a great night. See ya. Again, Valarie Jenkins with some details from the Women's Global event. Go out, find yours in your area, or even better yet, make it a destination. Make it a weekend. Grab your kids or your wife or your significant other, whomever it might be, and treat them. Take a little trip. Go find an event. Local seems like a great idea, of course, but or go make a weekend of it somewhere, or take if you're a male and you're listening, just say, hey, you go do whatever you want this weekend, all weekend, Thursday through Monday, and you take care of any other of the obligations that maybe she would otherwise take care of.
I think we've said this before, but if you're a married couple that both plays, this is a great opportunity just to hand the kids off with him and be like, I'm going to go play. See you later. Because so often, and it seems to be the other way around. So
of course. Yep.
It's just based on the statistics of our sport. But let's flip that.
Tim Court says he could take his female cats to the tourney.
You could.
I don't know if they'd get a
player's pack.
A player's pack.
You know what? If you registered each one to play, I don't know why they wouldn't.
I don't know that they should.
I think there's a few dogs that are registered in the PDGA. I don't know.
Either way, that's an odd statement out there. Disc Golf Strong says, looking forward to being out at Daisy Chains out in California. Awesome. Very good to hear, Seth. And of course, we've said it before, and I'll say it again. Val just referenced Seth over at Disc Golf Strong, but go check him out. Find him, Disc Golf Strong. He's not only working with a bunch of our top level athletes and professionals, but he wants to help anyone and everyone. Just yesterday, I saw a video that he had posted, and maybe I was outdated, but I saw a video he posted with Erica, where Erica, who's a personal trainer, Stick-Home. Erica, she talked a little bit about tendonitis in your elbow and different ways to address that. So there was just a quick little tip out there, and everyone should go out there. Tendonitis, obviously a very common issue or ailment within our sport. They talk about it in terms of forehands, backhands, things of that nature. So go out there and find Disc Golf Strong and everything that he's got. He's got great advice, and he's really just trying to help out the entire disc golf community. So
doing great things.
Alexis says, I need to read your super chat, Alexis. I'm not sure what you wrote. I'd have to scroll up and look for it, but I will see you, Alexis. Thank you for being a Patreon supporter. I think you won a week or two ago. I reached out to you today, and I packed extra stuff, and I'll be hand delivering. It might be Val, Nate, Doss related Patreon action giveaway stuff that I'm bringing to you. So very fitting with having Val just here, and I'll be excited to see you on Saturday. So come up, introduce yourself, and let's see if I can make sure I can hand off all your stuff to you. So thank you for being a Patreon supporter. All right. What else do we see going on? Of course, WACO coming up this weekend. We talked a little bit about who we're going to see, the featured cards. Do you know off the top of your head, before I misquote it, as to how the feature cards?
Nope.
Okay, I think I do. I
Steve
know
Dodge has a whole podcast. He talks about this.
Oh, does he? I don't got time to listen to that guy. I know that one of them is previous champion.
Yep.
Hence Jeremy Colling. One of them is a local influence, or I don't know if maybe influence is the right word. So when I think back to the memorial, I think of like a Colleen Thompson, who's from Arizona. She was on the women's feature card, for instance. So I think of her. One of them is a presenting sponsor influence.
Correct.
And then is the fourth one the fan vote?
The fan vote.
Okay, so that would make perfect sense that we see Jeremy Colling, previous winner, Eric Oakley, dynamic disc sponsored player, local. Who did we just say? I'm already losing my mind. James Conrad, and our fourth guy rounding it out. I just talked about this a few minutes ago. That's what I get for trying to think on the spot. Is it Kevin Jones that was also on there? I know we just talked about it. But anyway, that's who you're going to see. You're going to see for the men and the women's feature card. One thing that's different this year, and it's related to timing and a number of other things, is that we're seeing 4 women on the cards. Last year, actually the first 2 years, for our Pro Tour, we always saw 3 women cards, and now we're seeing 4 women cards. And when I asked Steve about that, he had said, well, when you're looking at some of the different tees and the flow of play, he thinks that a 4 women's card will be roughly on the same pace as what we saw with a 3 women's card. So if somebody was wondering as to why that was happening, that was Steve's explanation for me. What is coming in on the board that you're smirking at?
Me?
Oh, yeah.
I actually wasn't.
Oh, I thought you were laughing at something that came in on the board.
No.
Yeah, okay. So it was Kevin Jones, Eric Oakley, James Conrad, and Jeremy Colling, as we said. And just to repeat it on the women's side so I don't screw it up, Sarah Hokum, Rebecca Cox, Lisa Fakis, and Paige Pierce. So that's who you're going to see. What day of the week?
I don't know. Whenever I show up.
Thursday.
Thursday.
I just thought I'd quiz you, see if you were still on top of it.
I took 2 half days of work. Sometimes I don't bother taking half days and I just leave at half day. So I save my vacation time. But I felt like I needed to make sure I got this one in. So I took 2 half days of vacation.
All right. Anything else out there that we need to be covering? Okay, I'll ask. When, with Thursday being the opening event, when does everyone need to have any of their skip ace, aka fantasy disc golf? When does everyone have to have their skip ace pick solidified by?
Thursday morning by 8 a.m. local time of the event.
Wow, that's so tricky. Local time of the event.
There is a countdown timer.
Is this new?
It's
countdown?
It's been there. It says picks close in 1 day.
As of right now.
Which is kind of a rounding, but what you'll see is in about 24 hours, it'll say about 8 hours. It goes down hour by hour after it goes down from the day, as a countdown clock usually does.
Oh, that's
yep. And then it gets to minutes. I don't think it goes into seconds.
That's some really fancy
yes,
stuff.
You can. It's all there, so people don't have to ask me when did they close. You can always just look.
All right. So a few other things in the news that I saw come across my desk in the last few days. We've seen a few new products get released. I think we're going to also have a product review tonight. Is that correct?
We are correct. Disc Golf Nerd sent us something.
Thanks to Disc Golf Nerd. We'll have that here shortly. But a few of the other products that I saw released, I know, and I want to pull it up so that I don't misinform anyone. Like I ever really worry about that. I can't even say that with a straight face. I saw that Legacy has recently released a new disc golf basket, and it's the Sharpshooter, and I was going to look for some information on it, and I can't read where that was. Come on. But one of the things that I noticed with it is that it's adjustable. It has 3 different settings to it. 3 different settings. And I'm trying to find...
It's one more setting than any other adjustable basket I've ever heard, I think.
I don't know if that's true. But it does have 3 different settings, and if Steve Rico would have sent me a bigger image, I'd be able to read more for it. And then also, I've seen some new baskets that I think are coming into play from Latitude 64. I know they've got a number of different baskets that have been released. I'm going to pull up that email here in a moment as well, so I can really be on top of things. But I know that they have some new products. And then on the disc side of things, Disc Golf Nerd is giving us a review of, is it Latitude 64's latest couple of discs or something like that?
The Explorer and the Ballista Pro.
Okay, so 2 of the latest releases that we've seen from them. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, why don't we get to that now?
Let's do it.
And then you can dig through your email to maybe find out a little more information. So once again, as always, we want to thank Disc Golf Nerd for the product reviews that we're no good at. So here we go. Disc Golf Nerd giving you the review.
What's up, Smashies? This month we're taking a look at 2 new releases from Latitude 64, the Explorer and also the Ballista Pro. Let's take a look at the Explorer first. This one is in the Opto plastic. It is the new signature disc for 2-time world champion Ricky Wysocki. The Explorer is a slow, stable to somewhat overstable fairway driver, has very good glide and a very straight flight up to speed, but has a considerable and very consistent fade at the end of the flight. For me and my kind of lower to middle of the road arm speed, it just holds release angles very well. It is not a hyzer flip disc. If I release it on hyzer, it stays on hyzer. So it holds that release angle very nicely, up to speed, and then has a consistent fade when it slows down. Even pulled over on anhyzer for me, it eventually worked itself all the way back out and faded out at the end of the flight. I think this is a great disc for almost anybody to check out. If you're a beginner, it's going to be a little bit more overstable for you, but should still be a very workable flyer that you'll kind of be able to grow into a little bit as your arm speed increases, and it should be able to fly very nice and straight for high power players as well. The Ballista Pro is a high-speed, overstable distance driver. It is the more overstable version of the very popular Ballista from Latitude 64. This disc has a very large rim and a very noticeable dome to the top of the flight plate. It is a speed 14 disc that requires a lot of arm speed to get it to fly with any distance. If you're a beginner, you're not going to get much of a flight out of this disc at all. It's very fast and very overstable, very much designed for and best suited for high-level players that throw with a lot of power and speed on their throw. It is something for me that flies very fast and still gets reasonable distance considering how overstable it is, but it has a very strong fade at the end of the flight. I could see if you had a lot of power and can get this thing to start moving right or stand up, you could get a lot of distance out of it, but definitely more disc than is suitable for my particular arm speed. Well, that's it for this month. Big thank you to Smashbox for having me be a part of the show. If you'd like to see the full review of these discs, as well as over 175 others, just head over to my YouTube page or search for Disc Golf Nerd on Google. Thanks, guys.
Thank you again, Disc Golf Nerd, for the review. Two of the latest discs that we've seen out there, the Ballista Pro, along with the Explorer. I may or may not have those available today if you contact the Disc Golf guy.
Ooh.
I've got some in stock and available. Also, again, just to give a few more details that we saw for the baskets, on the basket side of things, baskets for everyone. The Sharpshooter, I'm going to quickly read through. Portable basket. It's lightweight, can be assembled and disassembled easily. It's been designed like any other basket, unlike any other basket on the market, with 18 adjustable chains that can be standard chain spacing with 2 tighter spacing positions for precise target practice. Each chain has assembled with a top link carabiner, so you can adjust the spacing to large, middle, or tight spacing. So no need to buy several different tops, and you've got all these different options, and they retail at $175. So that's what you see from Legacy. And on Latitude's 64 side, they have coming out here is the Elite Pro Basket, the Competition Pro Basket, and the Trainer Pro Basket, along with the Skill Pro Basket. So I believe they have 4 different baskets that are all either available or coming out soon from Latitude 64. So
awesome.
Lots of baskets out on the market, which is cool to see.
And I wanted to correct myself. I did look at the Mach Shift. Terry had mentioned it was the Mach Shift. That was the adjustable one. They do have 3 different adjustments. I forgot that theirs goes up and down as well. I was just thinking width-wise, but the shift will actually go up and down to make a smaller target north-south.
All right. Sounds good. I'm just trying to think about what basket works for me, but I think putting...
Super wide one.
Is that a fat joke?
It can be if you want me to. I was just thinking a larger target.
Maybe. I don't know. Speaking of targets, maybe that's not the best segue. I randomly came across the other night while something was either rendering or uploading on YouTube, came across this, to me, I'm sorry, it was a very random coverage or footage of a tournament in Germany. Simon Lizotte was there, and Eagle McMahon was there. So the two of them were there. I think it was last year. It was like the Bremen 56 series. I think that might be what Simon's dad runs or something like that.
Okay.
There's one particular hole. I don't even know where it was. It was just kind of playing. And it's funny because I don't even watch footage ever, really, of anyone of any kind. It was just kind of playing in the background. And at one point, I looked, and Simon threw a putt that he then fell forward. He was on a knee, and he fell forward after the putt. And he makes the putt for what I believe was a birdie 2. And his hand goes forward, and he places it on the ground. And then he kind of turns, and I don't know if he turns directly at Eagle or at someone else. And some exchange was made, and all I was thinking in my head is, this was from a long way back, but it looked like it would have been a foot fault or a stance violation, in that he extended forward and placed his hand immediately after releasing the putt. And then I posted it as a quick little message on, I think it was Instagram, your Instagram stories. And I got a lot of messages back like, well, what happened? Was it a foot fault? Did he get called? What? And because I kind of jokingly said, oh, for Simon's next trick shot, we're going to call this the arm fault. And then he did it. And I still, honestly, I don't even know, because there was no way to tell just how far he was away. But the fact that he turned to someone else on the card and maybe was looking for a call indicated to me that he probably felt like, and this comes at funny timing, because I believe this is a year old or longer. And it just, the timing of it comes after the conversation regarding foot faults and the memorial and everything else. And it really, my intention was not to rile people up and get them worked up or kind of rehash this whole idea or concept. I was just being funny about Simon's trick shots because he's so known for them. And I'll have to reach out to Simon about it and actually ask him. And when I see him in Waco, maybe this weekend, I will. But a lot of people on Instagram got really worked up about it. Now I'll have to go. I don't even remember the event, but I'll have to see if I can go find it. Yeah. I don't know if I even have a point to that story other than it was interesting to see. Other than you just like to stir things up. No, and that's just it, as I really wasn't at the time. But people very much were wondering the outcome of it. All right, Jeff Hawkins, go ahead. As I said, there's not a lot of news this week. You know, we've got obviously with just the WACO coming up, we had nothing big. We had a lot of our pros spread out in Texas this past weekend, so there's not a heck of a lot of news. Some of the other news that we saw out there in terms of we'll say disc golf media, I think the two things that jumped out at me that we saw over the last week. A company, it looks like a podcast outfit, I think FB30 as in founder by 30, had reached out and had an interview, about an hour-long interview with Jonathan Gomez, talking about him and everything that he's done within the sport and how Gomez Productions has come about. So if you want to go out and find that, there's a great interview that features him discussing exactly really everything. I'll say that was also playing at one point for me, and I got about 3/4 of the way through, and then I got distracted. I need to go back and listen to the last 15 minutes, but it was so enlightening to me because I didn't know all of his background was so technically on point. I mean, he went to school. He's done everything in the world of I knew some of that video production, and I don't think I knew or realized that he's had formal training and job experience working at a news station, producing news. Like, I'm really jealous and envious of all the real-world experience that he's had and all of the great learning opportunities that he's had and the jobs he's had to make him, him in the production that they are. So it was a really great interview. That same gentleman reached out to me, and I think you're going to see a slew of disc golf companies all get interviewed ultimately. Wasn't it like under 30 though? Yeah, exactly, and that's what I thought. Under 30? Yeah, that's maybe I need to write them back. That's not waistline. That's not IQ. It's definitely IQ. Terry. You're smart. No, but I think you're going to see, he said he's been really intrigued after talking to Jonathan. He said he's been really intrigued by the disc golf community. So I think you're going to see a number of interviews that will talk to various disc golf outlets. And I'm not sure everyone that he's reached out to, but I think you're going to see an onslaught of them, of those get released or something along those lines get released. So very cool. Go out there and look for that. Along those same lines, there's two other media things, actually. One of which was the CCDG versus Jomez battle. It's out on Jomez's channel. You can go take a look at that. I'm not going to spoil it because I don't know the answer to who won. I don't think you can spoil it if you don't know. I think I have an idea, though. I'm pretty sure. And so there's that. So hopefully, get in, take a look at that. Looked like that was pretty fun and interesting. And there's they played Fountain Hills. They played Fountain Hills. And they're lucky that you and I didn't play. True. And AJ Risley, I believe, did on-site commentary is what I gathered from the Instagram post. Is that AJ Risley?
Did they play the short tees?
We should have.
I know.
No, I don't know. I have no idea.
I'll have to go and watch some of it because I haven't had a chance to look. But yeah, I love Fountain Hills. It's such a fun course.
Okay.
And the other thing is we forgot to mention last week, there's a new disc golf podcast out there
Yes.
called Ladies of the Chains. It is a female-centric disc golf podcast. So if you have that, if that's something you're craving, you want another disc golf podcast in your world that specifically focuses around the FPO division and the women in our sport, please go out and check it out. I know it's out on Stitcher, I can see for sure. Otherwise, you can go to www.ladiesofthechains.com. I'm assuming that there's probably some sort of weird website if you hit the wrong .com versus .org. So make sure to go to ladiesofthechains.com. I can't vouch for any other site.
Yes. And then someone on the board is saying, yes, they played the long tees.
Oh, good.
And really, and as I said, there's only, I think, one short tee technically out there anyway.
I know.
So I'm not sure that it should matter too much. But yes, it says that they played the long tees. So that's good. So check out and what Val and I actually didn't fully touch on. I guess we kind of did. Again, open to ideas, suggestions. If you or you know someone that would make for a great commentator on the women's side, we're looking for more women that would be interested, that would be able to, I don't want to say entirely facilitate. I'd like to get everything set up so that I can essentially just say, hit this button, hit record, and then you'd be able to do it. So very much open to ideas, suggestions. Either you or someone you know, reach out to me, probably best on Facebook, and or maybe reach out to Val or something like that, and then we can see if we can get a mixture of different people. Madison said that she really enjoyed it, and I think you're going to continue to see and hear Madison as well in future commentary roles.
Certainly.
And we'll try and spread that love around. And Dad's Drunk is saying as well, Sarah Lamberson is great on PDGA Radio. That's really no surprise. I believe PDGA Radio also released today. Again, probably another podcast.
I listened to did I listen to all of it? I think I listened to all of it. Can't remember.
Okay. I saw that it was released today. I did not get a chance. Bobby Brown says, speaking of disc golf media, he's retiring? No, no. He's saying, I think Dynamic, I like how he says, I think, because he would have been the one to do it. I think Dynamic Disc put out some interesting practice round footage. So go check that out as well. I do want to rate a little nudge there, Bobby, even though it was unintentional. I want to say, aside from the Pro Tour partners that are already supporting the Pro Tour, Dynamic Disc specifically reached out to me and said, we would like to support the post-production women's coverage in addition to the support they already give to the Pro Tour on a Pro Tour level. So I do want to say, again, thank you to Dynamic Disc. It is great that you guys value and put so much into media. I'll follow up on that quickly and say, someone who's semi-removed from our sport, a good friend of ours who's kind of taken a back seat to it, the other day called me and we started just kind of randomly talking about some more intricate details of disc golf and what's going on right now. And he knows what I do, but he's like, man, it really seems like those guys over at Dynamic Disc, they really have it together. And I said, yeah, they put out a ton of great content. Bobby Brown and now a team of media people. They very much value media on all different platforms, not exclusively just videos on YouTube, but of course,
I know every week,
Facebook and everything else.
Every week I see Bobby signing up for a new social media site.
Well, so it's great that when I talk to someone, like I said, who's just kind of now on the outskirts, and when he takes a quick glimpse or a look at where disc golf is, and as he tries to get caught up or brought back into the fold, that's one observation that he made right off the top, and it's really been no secret that I think a lot of our companies in disc golf have some opportunities to grow and to learn, and Dynamic Disc I think is doing a lot of things right on the media side. So appreciate everything they do, and looking forward to, of course, being at Glass Blown in a few weeks as well. What are we, about a month away from that even?
Yeah,
month and a half.
All right, I say we wrap this puppy up. We go to some
I'm
after
good.
show, do a little bit of giveaways.
Let's do it. I'm good with that as well. So I would like to again thank Valarie Jenkins, 4-time women's world champ, PDGA Women's Committee, Women's Global Event, and a million other accolades and tasks and roles that she takes on. Part of that amazing Team Jenkins family. Love to everyone over there in Ohio, and well wishes to everyone. So thank you again, Val, for joining us, and thank you for helping out this last weekend, and we look forward to more of that in the future. We'd like to thank Dynamic Discs for your support, as I just mentioned, as well as Disc Golf Nerd here tonight. Bobby Brown did a super chat. He says we make him blush.
Oh.
We appreciate that, buddy. So Dynamic Disc, Bobby Brown, all of you guys, again, we appreciate it. Looking forward to being in Waco, Texas as early as tomorrow. I'm going to try and do a little extra content here and there as the week goes on. It won't be any nightly recaps, but I'll see if I can get a few extra pieces out there. We're going to have the live broadcast coming to you at 3 p.m. Central Time each day.
You.
Says me. So we hope that you can enjoy that as well. We'll be with our featured card with women's footage spliced in and women's footage then released come Tuesday in full post-production round action. So for Johnny V and myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, that's been podcast number 186. We'll have some giveaways and random talk about just about anything and everything in the after show. We'll see you then when you step inside the Smashbox.
Thank you to our $2 and above patrons. Your name is listed below in the credits. If you are interested in being listed as a producer in the SmashBoxxTV credits and supporting this and other fine podcasts, please visit patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the SmashBoxxTV podcast 186 After Show.
That was not even planned. That's great.
No, I'm guessing they don't want to hear that every week, but maybe they do.
Oh, God, no. I don't want to hear it every week.
All right. Well, welcome, everyone. We're here in the After Show Tuesday night, March 13th. Just got done talking with Valarie Jenkins, who gave us some updates from the Women's Global event. Hope you enjoy getting all those insights, a little behind the scenes, along with some of the goals and expectations that they have for this year, as we're looking at the 4th Women's Global event to take place. And there's not a heck of a lot. And I know we kind of said that as we were closing out the show, which was one of our shorter shows, if you didn't notice already. There's just not a heck of a lot going on in disc golf. I know we've started the season and we had a couple A tiers. We talked about St. Patrick's. We talked about event in Texas, and this week we're leading into Waco. It's kind of interesting to see that when the Disc Golf Pro Tour has so frequently had this every other week schedule, so we're live. We know what's going on for those. Sometimes then there's a national tour that's then in between those, but this week wasn't one of those weeks. So to see things not quite as fast and furious or is quite of a big deal this weekend.
Was it like Too Fast, Too Furious? Maybe some Tokyo Drift?
I don't know. Rest in peace,
Paul Walker. I don't particularly like those movies.
Yeah,
not my style, but
no, they are.
I could tell
favorite.
you. I could tell everyone.
If there's anything it's drifting and cars.
I could tell everyone a really funny story about the first time I saw the first movie.
No, that's probably not a good idea because I think I know what that's related
Yeah,
to.
I think you do too.
We'll skip that.
That's a after show talk.
For about 6 of us guy friends. So some of the conversation that took place in the regular show, and depending on when you're listening to this, might be a little late, but there was a threat, and there still is, even at this time at 10:45 Central Time on Tuesday night, that Simon Lizotte had posted a few hours ago saying he didn't know for sure if he was going to get out of Boston, where he is, as we talked to him last week, where he is with a lady friend, female friend, girlfriend, significant other,
Pick one.
partner, whatever. He was there and visiting, and he's considering that more or less his home base throughout the year. And there's a nor'easter. I guess that's a fancy term for a big snowstorm on the East Coast. And he was worried about getting a flight out. And then he posted an update a little bit later saying that it looks like he's going to have a flight out. And I had said, you may want to just play it safe. This will be the one insider tip that I'll give in terms of fantasy this week. You may want to play it safe and just avoid having Simon in your lineup. Or you may be waiting until sometime on Wednesday to make kind of that final pick or decision, again, based on what you do or don't read on social media. So, but I know I'm going to avoid him, not because he's not a great player and a fun guy and a super guest, but I don't know if I fully trust travel schedules, planes,
and showing up with zero practice on the course.
And zero practice.
So, anyway.
So we'll see how that has played out at this point.
I did something this week that I haven't done in a long time. I registered for a disc golf tournament.
Wow.
Yeah. I registered for the Northwoods Open.
Okay.
Barely got in. I think I got the last open spot.
Wow.
And it's not even
last open or last available spot?
Last available spot.
Okay.
I wanted to play Pro Masters.
Yep.
They were full. So I got on the waiting list. And then I made a little call to our good friend who runs the event. And I said, oh, I see that there is an advanced master spot open, which I don't particularly want to play, just based on the timing of the pools. It means Sunday morning I go off first thing in the morning, which after Saturday night, usually not a good thing. I said, hey, can you put me in there? Just move me in there, but keep me on the wait list for open or for Pro Master. So he's like, yes, got you, Johnny. Got you under control. And so I'm going to be playing in the Northwoods Open, and this is back, in September. And probably the Advanced Masters. The advantage I have that these other guys didn't think of, and most of them probably could, is that if someone doesn't show up, not only am I on the wait list, I'm there and playing. It's about 4.5 to 5 hours away from almost any major city.
Well, I don't know if it's quite that remote.
It's about 2 hours from any major
city, sure.
Yeah, in Wisconsin. It's it's going to take you 2 to 2.5 hours to get up there. For us, it's about 5 hours. And so I figure, you know what? If one of those other guys doesn't show up, they're not going to go up there. I'm going to be on the wait list, and I have a chance to play. So, thinking ahead.
You are.
Of course, I probably belong in the Advanced Masters field, but that's a whole nother
Only
question.
Because they don't have an Intermediate Masters.
That's a good point.
A recreational Masters?
Valid point,
We
Terry.
should start petitioning for a few new divisions.
No, but that event filled up in ridiculous amount of time. It opened up in on like March 1st or 2nd or something, and it filled in a couple days.
Well,
and then I signed up, thankfully. I mean, for the divisions that we were looking for. So I'm excited.
It's a clear-cut example of the registration. I don't want to say pandemonium, but for many years, this event has been, and we've been going up there. I've been going up there since I was 16 years old. This event has always had a great turnout and eventually sold out or come very close to selling out. For the longest time, it was capped at roughly 100 and some, then capped at 135, and then he split up the way the pools were run, so it could be 135 in one pool and in theory 135 in another. And this is an event that always just kind of slowly trickled in and then eventually sold out. That's kind of a common theme, I'll say, for Wisconsin disc golf, who host 40 to 50 PDGA events a year. Most of our bigger, well-established events sell out usually sometime like the week or two before. And I've always pushed so hard for pre-registration for all events, for all people, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're at a point, and I think a lot of places are experiencing this, is people are putting it up, and then there's a little bit of an influx, and then people do get nervous, and then everybody just signs up right away.
Well,
and then,
we had an event here at Parkside that filled in an hour.
Correct.
It filled up the entire event, and it's an early, what is that, an April?
Yeah, April 7th and 8th.
An April event. So whether it's mediocre at best.
Usually crappy.
Yeah, almost always. Honestly, that event has some of the worst luck, because in April, Wisconsin, you could get a 60-degree day. But I swear, every time
29 and
every time I've played that is 29 and rainy.
Yeah,
like it just unfortunate. Because it's a nice course, but just realizing how fast these events, and being out of the scene kind of for the past 2 years doing this, I didn't even think about it. The fact that the event even opened registration, I didn't see any post about it on Facebook, knowing that I'm I've known I'm going to play this event. So now I reached out to a couple other events that I want to play in. There's the GMO this year, which I want to play. We've got that weekend off, so I reached out to TD. I said, "Hey, is that event open yet?" Never got back to me, but I don't see it anywhere. So I'm crossing my fingers it's not. And I think I want to play Silver Cup this year.
Very nice. Well, those are some of the things we're seeing in Wisconsin, and it's funny because I personally, I'm running an event in almost exactly a month, the weekend after what you're just talking about. I'm running an event, the Skyline Classic. Registration did just open. I actually kind of left it on the down low. I didn't make a big news or announcement about it, and I was interested to see as registrations have already, I don't even want to say trickled in. They've
For which event?
For the Skyline Classic that I'm running. And we're seeing registrations, 20, 30 people have already signed up, and someone signed up today, and they're like, I didn't even know it was open, and it's far from full, hence why I didn't have anyone freaking out yet. But one of the, I guess another way to look at this, some people are saying, well, this event is already, it opened and it sold out within minutes. Mm-hmm. Then this event 6 months later opened and sold out here locally or in the state. And that's where I was like, I'm not in a hurry to get registration up immediately, because there's a lot of people who are already stressing over the fact that I've got 4, 5, 6, 10 registrations for events already outlaid on the table, anywhere from $400 to $1,000 for events that they're going to be playing this year. Mm-hmm. And then some people turn around and say, I'm not in a position where I can have outlaid $1,000 laying around in upcoming events. So it's this ultimate catch-22 of, we want people to register. You want to have that all secured and have it all locked down. It makes it so much easier for the TD. But on the flip side of that, people are saying, yeah, I want to come play, and I know I'm going to come play in it, but I can't sign up for 10 or 12 or 15 tournaments all in advance and have all of that money just sitting out there. There's a fine line. There's no perfect solution.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'll say it's a great growing pain for the sport to have, that we're seeing events sell out or get close to selling out very quickly, and that does nothing but help the tournament directors and staff to help put on a better event for you. So my exciting news with the event that I was just talking about is we are using the Silver Fox course. So for those that maybe are within a 2 or 4 or 8 hour range of us, the Silver Fox course is a course located near the Gray Fox course, 2.9 miles away. It's tougher and more challenging, very demanding, and just a great all-around fun course to play that I've let kind of wear in for the last year or two before hosting any large-scale sanctioned events there. So this will be a 2-round event, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and you'll play 1 round at Gray Fox, 1 round at Silver, not necessarily in that order, depending on division. So go out, get signed up. I'd love to see you. It's going to be trophy only. This year I'll have trophies there, so I'm going to really step it up to another level.
What an improvement.
I know. I figure if it's going to be trophy only, I should have them available. So go out and sign up today, but it's all on PDGA, and looking forward to it. I had Cameron Messerschmidt, I'll say out of nowhere, I think it's a fair statement, messaged me the other day, and he's like, "Hey, just looking at the calendar, I see you're hosting an event." Cameron, who is touring around pretty extensively, full time on around the country.
When is your event?
It's the weekend, so it's the 14th and 15th of April. So 1 month from now. Yeah, when it always is. Yeah.
Wow.
Last year it was the 8th and 9th of April. I flip-flop with Parkside, the event you were just mentioning. So anyway, that's taking place. If you're in the area, there's not a lot going on nationwide. I believe the collegiates are taking place, which is obviously a big deal for college-age players and participants. But in terms of massive, huge, large-scale events all around the country, I didn't see anything that jumped out at me. And it's one of the few weekends I'm home. I'm around that I can host this B-tier event. So
April 14th and 15th, huh?
Yeah, it's big time. Nate and Val were here last year. They won't be this year, but they were last year.
No, keep
Pretty
riding
big
that.
deal.
Keep riding that. I'm gonna.
Can I put that on the flyer? Nate and Val, last year's champions, not returning.
1 day, 2 day.
1 day. Where were you? I just said that.
What day do I play?
Well, awkward. You would play Saturday. So a great follow up. All professional divisions and all advanced divisions play Saturday. All other divisions play Sunday. So if you're playing in any professional division or any advanced division, advanced masters, advanced men, advanced masters, they all play Saturday. All advanced divisions and all pro divisions.
Really like being in the. I mean, I'd love to be a better player. I like being in the position I'm in because I could play open, which I won't. I can play pro master. I can play advanced master. I can play advanced.
You could play intermediate. Could you? I bet you could. I'm going to say you can.
What is the cutoff?
935, sub 935. And I'm just going to take a wild stab that you can.
Not so well. Did you look?
What?
You
looked? No, I didn't. Oh. I have no idea what your rating is, but I'm going to. So before everyone on the board, is Johnny eligible or not for intermediate division? That's the question. Is he sub 935? Ratings came out today. Thank you, PDGA.com. There's your plug.
Oh,
I
am 943.
You didn't even give him a chance. They all had faith in you.
No, they'll throw it up there because they're going to be a couple seconds behind.
943, yes. Okay.
I had, ratings detail. Let's look at all the events. It's hard to go up or down when you don't play.
Well, I mean, if you play, you just have to play well.
Yeah, true. Wow, I've got I've got rounds on here from 2015. That's how, July of 2015, that's how little I played. So, that's because my last.
And you played in the Skyline 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. You
were on a cruise last year.
I was on a cruise last year. I'll probably be on a cruise next year too.
So now we just need Robert McCall to come up, show everybody. All right, maybe not.
So
Robert McCall. All right. So anyway, there's enough plugs. That's a lot of Wisconsin, and that's just the general Midwest. The one conflict I know, and I know there's a lot of our listeners in the Midwest. I believe that's also the weekend of the Discontinuum Club Challenge, which is a pretty big event that takes place. And I know we're going to lose definitely some competitors to playing at the Club Challenge. I think they had a couple hundred people playing in it last year, but
makes sense.
That's what will be going on April 14th and 15th.
Someone asked if I'm, can I do all that bouncing around if I accept cash? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
I just cannot play a major with
an amateur major.
An amateur major if I accept cash, in which I have accepted cash. I would have to petition the PDGA at this point, which I wouldn't be twisting anybody's arm to say that I would like my amateur status back so I could play a major. But personally, I wouldn't. There's no point because I don't ever plan on playing any majors anymore. Just because it probably doesn't line up with what we do at this point. So there is. But yes, you can. As long as you can take cash, it's all ratings based.
Okay. I was checking my phone while we were briefly moving into the after show, and I got a message from Nate Doss that said, this is way back at 9:30, don't suck up. You know I'm the best Doss commentator. So shots are being fired cross country.
He's got to live with her.
Yeah. So I don't know. Nate trying to stake his claim. Dad's Drunk asked, any time at the cinema lately? Thoughts on Shape of Water winning Best Picture? Spoiler, bro. Any chance Terry saw even one movie that was nominated for anything? Dad's Drunk. I got stuff to do. So no, didn't see any of the movies. Of course, there's a number of them that look good, but it's funny when I don't even recognize. That's how out of the loop I am. Where I don't even like when it. What is it?
The Shape of Water.
The Shape of Water. And
do you know what the Shape of? Oh, this should be a fun game.
No.
Oh. Do you know anything about like the Shape of Water, the story, or anything?
I know absolutely nothing. The one thing I'll say to it when I heard the title, is there is a 5-ish to 6 minute. It's not a piece, a very well produced 5 to 6 minute piece that went around social media a couple years ago. Okay. And it had something to do with water. I thought it was called The Shape of Water, honestly. And the whole premise of that piece, and I hope to goodness somebody out there has seen this. The whole point.
Don't look at the chat.
Okay. The whole point of the premise of this 5-minute social media piece was basically, I read it as, chill the F out. You don't know other people's story.
Okay.
And I watched it multiple times, and it was truly moving because I feel like I'm quick to judge. I feel like I am impatient.
Yeah.
And I feel like I sometimes have a short fuse. So watching that really was enlightening to me because it basically said, chill out. You don't know what's going on in someone's life or story.
If you had to guess what The Shape of Water was about,
see,
come on.
I'm just saying, like my whole view and perception is when I hear that story, that's all I tied it to. I'm like, is it like a long version of that?
No.
Like that would be honestly the
if I told you that Guillermo del Toro,
who I couldn't pick out of a lineup of 3,
that he directed it, does it help you at all?
No.
All right, if you have kids listening to this, cover their ears. I'm not lying. Give me about 3 seconds. It's about a woman who fucks a fish. Fish man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That wasn't on my top list of guesses.
Del Toro is a.
I mean, it would have taken me a while to get there. All right.
He does Pan's. He did Pan's Labyrinth. He does a lot of out there monster type movies. He did the one that the sequel is just Pacific Rim, very sci-fi kind of guy. And this is like a love story about a woman and a fish man. And
yeah, no.
Oh yeah, and my understanding is that it is. I don't want to say graphic. That's the wrong way to put it.
Well, your description was,
but it is. It is the Hellboy, which is a great movie. I'm looking forward to the remake. It's very much like it's a fish porn flick. It's so.
I think YouTube just kicked us off.
From everything I've heard, it is.
So you have not seen it?
I've not seen it. No.
Oh.
But I've heard.
It'd be funny if you were just misinformed.
No, not at all. Trust
That's
me.
what you took out of it.
Trust me. People are calling it Grinding Nemo.
Okay.
That's one of the jokes.
So Ellen's involved. No. Okay.
Doubtful.
Okay.
There's a lot of fun. I really want to see Lady Bird. I heard that's very good. It's like but we did just the other night watch Coco, the Pixar movie.
Okay. I heard mixed reviews on that.
It's really good.
Okay.
I enjoyed it quite a bit. And I watched on TV, I watched The Expanse season 2, hardcore sci-fi, outer space stuff. Very, very good. The Shape of Water.
And then the Get Out.
Get Out. Dad's Trunk says it's overrated, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. Like
apparently it did all right. It won Best Picture, right?
No, it didn't. It won like Best Screenplay, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I would like to see that as well. That
I've heard it's good.
yeah,
so.
I mean, of course.
And you don't know anything about it?
I saw a trailer for it because after
good enough.
all of the nominations, then I saw a trailer for it. I'm like, oh, that looks interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I would be interested to see it.
How many events will you play this year? This is what I'm going to ask. We'll go back, get off of culture that we don't know about anymore, and we'll talk more about
mean much.
disc golf.
I will likely play 5-ish events.
Okay.
And it's funny because just before the show earlier tonight, I was thinking to myself, I wonder if I care. Like, I kind of would like to be good at disc golf again.
I've been we sound so lame and old. I've been thinking that too. There's two things I think I kind of want to do this year over the summer. My son goes to the YMCA camp, which is on the southwest side of town, kind of close
Root
enough
River?
to Root River.
Okay.
I want to drop him off early and 2 to 3 days a week go in and swim, and the other 2 to 3 days a week play disc golf.
Okay.
Drop him off at like 7, go get a round in at Root River just in the morning and go play. Probably, maybe a quick 9. I don't think I'll do a full 18 out there. Because that's the funny thing about Root River. It's not a convenient. There is a nice turnaround point, but if you wanted to play like the front 9 or the back 9, it's very long one way and long there. So you kind of have to cut it off and cut back. But there is a nice turnaround point at that course. So
to use Madison's term, linear.
Oh yeah, very linear.
That was one of her favorite words in the commentary. I think she used it 3 times. I think she gets bonus points for such a.
She's smart though.
She is. She is. Yes, it kind of, like you said, last time I played there anyway, which was years ago, it just plays all the way out down one path and then all the way back down another. So you'd have to peel off after 4 or 5 holes and then try and come back if you just wanted to do that 9-hole loop and make it
so
just that a loop.
I think I'd like to try to do that 1 or 2 days a week. And I wish I lived in a slightly, I don't want to say less urban area, a slightly more trustworthy area, because I'd leave my basket out more often. But there's high school nearby, and we're right next to a major road, and it could very easily just get up and walk away. So I'm not going to bother putting a basket out until we move to a different neighborhood. But yeah, I would like to be better at disc golf, even as little as I play. I mean, we can still beat CCDG though, right?
I'm not gonna say yes all day, but I guess it depends on who's on the teams. But maybe
like you and me versus Ian and Johnny Disc Golf, Johnny Football. I think we take them.
Maybe.
We just talk it up like we can. Like they're nothing. We got that.
So when they played CCDG versus Jomez,
I don't know.
Was that just the preliminary match, and then the winner gets to take on us?
Whoa! Seriously, news broke that Stephen Hawking just died. Wow.
Okay. Smashbox exclusive.
Oh, that's unfortunate. One of the smartest men ever. All right. Say that again.
At what age?
Not to 60s.
Oh, that's it. I thought he was way older. Okay. Okay. So to answer your question, the question as to how many events, I mean, I played in the Shelly Sharp, which shouldn't have counted
76
in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously played in the Cracked Plastic a few weeks ago. There's a really good chance I'll be playing in the team tournament, the Upper Midwest Sandy Point team tournament that takes place the first weekend in June. I will probably make a return to that event, which will be unsanctioned. And then after that, yeah, there might be something that takes place maybe in the fall time that comes on a weekend where I'm around. I may or may not. I know earlier you talked a lot about playing in the Northwoods event, which is the same one where I just mentioned the team tournament takes place, and that's on Labor Day weekend. And I'm unsure. I'm not fully committed to actually playing in the event. I'm signed up for it to secure the spot, but I may or may not actually play in the event.
Well, then I'll take your spot.
It's going to come down. Excuse me. It's going to come down to contractual obligations with events that are dying to have coverage. So if there's a situation where I'm in a position that going and covering an event supersedes me going and playing an event, unfortunately, that's been my life for the last 8 years, and that's just the way it is. So we'll see. And one thing that one of our cameramen who we're excited to have reunite us in come Jonesboro. He's hasn't been able to make the first 2 events, but he's going to be there for the 3rd and moving forward is Chad. And Chad was asking me, he saw the CCDG versus Jomez, and he too was like, are they just scared of us? I'm like, probably. And then he had said, well, maybe we should be making this more of a regular thing.
We had talked about this a couple years ago at GBO when we looked at doing that. And let me say this. If we have Chad on our team, Chad's good. Like, Chad's a good disc golfer.
Yeah.
He's a good pro master. He's
even for an old guy.
Even for an old guy like us now. It's no competition, I think, if we have Chad. I was thinking you and I, but
so who knows as to what may or may not unfold in terms of some kind of media-based competitions. But GBO was fun a couple years ago. Matt James, if you're out there listening, I'd love to see the footage. I know you filmed it and had it somewhere, so hopefully if you do, we could have the release of that from the 2016? 2017? 2016 GBO. We'd love to see it.
Yeah, I'd like to play, as I say, you said you're going to play like 5 events. I'm hoping to play now Skyline. Well, maybe I should probably sign up for that.
Yeah, get signed up.
Skyline, hopefully Silver Cup, Northwoods, GMO, and then I'd like to play the Flex Start before GBO.
Okay.
So that's what I'm hoping. I just need to find I need to verify that because we should be in town by Wednesday.
Bobby, so just to clarify for everyone out there, Robert McCall is currently driving the Dynamic Disc RV, one of their fleet. Robert is driving the newest one. Bobby Brown, I believe, is a passenger within that RV at the moment as they are driving down to Waco, Texas, and they're listening in live. And Bobby Brown has also chimed in saying, Robert says that Disc Golf Answer Man will give strokes to Jomez and SmashBoxxTV and beat everyone.
Who's on the team?
Robert and his comb, I think, are the only 2 that will be there.
Here's what I think would be more interesting than just like a straight up best shot. You would have to do best worst alternate rotating.
Sure.
Or front 9, or I'm sorry, front 6, middle 6.
Something other than just straight best shot.
Other than straight best shot for anybody. If we ever, if it's ever a one-on-one competition, because yes, I think having Robert and EMAC would probably crush. Now, I think we could take Bobby and
Bobby and Robert?
No. Van and Hoovel.
Oh, potentially. Yep.
Oh, yeah, we take them.
Now, McCabe and McCall, I'm going to go ahead and say would be the hands down
favorite of
all of the. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a world champion and some good hair. So there's no one could hang with that. When you put McCabe in the mix, or he's just on another level than everyone else in terms of our media play right now.
Correct. McCabe is number 1, but McCall ain't far behind him. I mean, McCabe is only like 1,000.
You guys can have McCabe if we can have Doss.
Oh, good call. We got Doss.
So there's that.
Shots fired. And he'll be at GBO, I think, if Val is.
So we're just saying, we can bring the noise or something like that.
That's a good
and then we'll take Val. Yeah.
And we have Shoestrick, right? Because we had him at the finals.
Yeah. Makers Telemark says, throw some women in the mix. All right, then I guess we'll take Val as well. And our alternate would be Madison. She's done commentary with us.
They're going to have Paige, I get.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's fair.
That's fair. Anyway.
Enough of this wishful thinking. We talk, and then it gets to be the day after GBO and all the media teams are just exhausted.
Everybody's wiped out, ready to be done.
Yeah, or it's raining and it's flooding.
Or you have a 10-hour drive home or whatever the case might be. So one way or another, we'll get it all figured out. Yes, and we have Dana. That's a good call. Real quickly, Dana was not in our regular show tonight. He thought he might be able to join us. I caught him as he was getting on a plane yesterday, even though he just got back from Mexico, living that disc golf rich lifestyle with him and the family. But he was getting on a plane and going to Florida. Any guesses why he was going to Florida?
I'm guessing something Discmania related, possibly a trade show or a sales conference.
Not quite. He was going to do a course design at what I believe he said was a retirement community, and it would be a 6-hole course design at a retirement community somewhere in Florida.
Did he say what retirement community?
No.
Because, not that there's a shortage.
You know people there?
No, but I was thinking there is an entire city of retirement. I forget the name.
I think that's the state of Florida.
Well, yeah, snowbirds. And I forget. My in-laws had talked about it at one point, and there's all these little mini communities, and I was thinking how it'd be really cool to have a disc golf for that community, and you'll have to forgive me for not knowing, thankfully, what the name of the community is.
Yeah, if they have the room for it, it is a great activity, and we're seeing it get more and more incorporated into senior games. I know in Wisconsin, I was the volunteer coordinator for the Wisconsin Senior Games to have disc golf in it for a number of years. And I think that's growing around the country throughout. I know I just saw a few big posts about it being involved in a senior game somewhere in the last few weekends, too, somewhere. So that's definitely another avenue and outlet for competitive play out there. But, yeah, so Dana thought he was going to be able to join us and then wasn't able to ultimately tonight, but I know that's what he was working on. And speaking of Florida, I just want to throw out a real quick, I don't know, cast it out there that I'm super excited. I've connected and confirmed again with Michael Barnett, of course, who had just got done doing the disc golf cruise and relocating his shop and doing so many other things. There's a lot of excitement and buzz going on right now around Throwdown the Mountain, which is a temporary course. I know I've raved about it for the last few years. I'll continue to. It's just this really amazing piece of property in Brooksville, Florida. He's gotten to a point where he's split it up into 2 different weekends. He's done that for the last few years. And I don't want to totally spoil it, but he's even talked about 3 different weekends potentially at some point just because of the massive response that he gets for that property. So as soon as I get home from WACO, I'll be home for 2 days or so, hopefully get out all that women's footage, post-production, celebrate my daughter's 7th birthday on that Wednesday, the 21st, and then turn around and go back down to Florida for Throwdown the Mountain post-production. So super excited to be back in Florida in a few weeks as well. All right, let's see what else we have on the board. We'll let's go through that.
I'm going to get the Patreon stuff ready here.
There you go.
So.
You work on that. I'm going to catch up on the board.
Good, it's ready.
As many of you know, out on the board, especially during our after show, we love to interact with anyone that's on our YouTube chat board if you've got questions or comments or concerns that we might be able to address. Dad's Drunk says, I'm going to play the Throwdown the Mountain course tomorrow morning. That's a good call. I love the course. Everyone loves the course and says it's great. If you're in Florida and you only know Florida disc golf, you think it's that much more great because there is just not that kind of elevation found in really almost any other part of Florida. Hence, they call it Throwdown the Mountain. Spoiler, it's not really a mountain. It's some large hills or medium-sized hills. Yeah, not really a mountain, but it is a lot of fun. Mackie D says, get to do a tourney this Saturday, 2 rounds at Moraine Shamrock Showdown. You're playing in it, I assume, when you say get to do, as opposed to covering it possibly?
Did you, I was going to say, we'll skip to the question.
Does Lindell count as a touring pro?
No.
No.
Have you heard anything about Patrick Brown at the Memorial?
I
heard he was DQ'd for yelling at a spotter. And I don't know how...
Times more than one.
Oh, okay.
So, or should I just say plural spotters? The plural, your spotter word. I think it's safe to say, yeah, that he was in fact disqualified. I don't want to give misinformation, but it was something to do with yelling or getting into it in some kind of verbal
altercation
with one or more tournament staff / volunteers.
Okay.
So that's where I can put that. And if anybody else wants to elaborate or knows more, that's great. Yeah, that's what I can say. Again, I don't fully love the idea of speculating on stuff that could be considered so derogatory. I'll speculate on rainbows and unicorns, but I don't want to overstep there, but he was in fact disqualified, and it had to do with verbal altercations with volunteers / tournament staff and spotters. So
he hasn't had the best luck at the Memorial, as far as that goes.
Was there another time?
Yeah, when he was picking up a player's pack, I heard he had disrespected.
Oh, I think I do recall said story. Okay.
So
so there it is. Yeah. And if there's more out there that you guys know, I would say that's a really quick and easy way to summarize what happened.
And I don't know. I don't know any more of the details, which is why I asked you, because you and I haven't really discussed it. I just heard that he was disqualified and had something to do with him like yelling at a spotter or a spotter.
Yeah, that's
and getting into it with them.
Yeah,
so
to make that's really the meat and the potatoes of the story.
Yeah.
And John Doe says, "Why can't we know the truth?" That is the truth. That's really all there is.
You can't handle the truth.
Exactly. Tim Court says, but Patrick Brown fished out Emax Ballista Pro from the lake. Okay. Yeah. You still can't berate a spotter or a volunteer.
And I've said this before, like, Patrick Brown can be the nicest guy off the course.
He does an insane amount of work at the Golden Gate disc golf course. The beautification project. He does a lot of great things.
But
sometimes
he also has a temper and can fly off the handle. So it's one of those things. Something you need to get under control.
Yes. Daniel Martinez says, is there any film footage of the St. Patrick's event last weekend? I have no idea, Daniel. I don't know. Something would it's in California, so I would immediately think that if that Central Coast is a logical tie, but I have no idea. Obviously, I know they're not right there. Why am I getting a weird phone call from that number?
I don't know.
That's really weird from my city. Huh. All right. I don't know. If I had to guess if there was film footage, I would guess it would come from Central Coast, but I have no idea if they were even there. So, no idea. Does that carry any kind of PDGA discipline? I'm sure the incident, if you're referring to Patrick, you're DQ'd. So there's definitely a report that gets filed. What the disciplinary committee will do with that, I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head, but I'm guess they will likely call and speak with the tournament director or the official that disqualified him. They'll likely call Patrick in this case and have a conversation with him. From there, I'm not sure if they'll need to call any other individuals to get, it probably depends if there's any form of discrepancy in terms of the recollecting of the events that took place, and then they'll take it from there. That's all on the disciplinary committee, which is a volunteer committee, like so many others are, but it's all on them at that point.
Certainly. Let's move on to Patreon. Let's do a giveaway here. We have. What do we have? Do you have something we're giving away? I saw you had a disc over there.
I thought you can always tie it together for lots of different reasons, but I've got a signature edition Paige Pierce, 4-time world champion. She's good. Convict. Dynamic Disc is your presenting sponsor in WACO this weekend, and Paige Pierce is awesome. So I figured I'd grab one of these, which I had ordered a few weeks ago, I think. Got them in. It's Paige approved, and then some. So I figured that'd make for a great giveaway.
Well, and I'm looking here. I'm going to go with 4. The number of times I'm going to hit random because that's the glide on this bad boy.
Oh, I like it. Going with, I totally saw that coming, though.
I didn't want to do 9 because that was too many for me.
All right, so he's going to hit the random generator 4 times, and then the 4th answer, or number that comes up, I should say, that one will correspond with the spreadsheet of Patreon supporters that we have for SmashBoxxTV. That person will win this.
That's not right.
Yes.
There we go. All right, so we have 178 people. Terry's going to hit his microphone. It's okay. 4 times. There's number 1. There's number 2. There's number 3. Number 4 is number 96.
If you were one of those first 3, I'd be super mad.
You'll never know. Number 96 is Brian Luoma.
A new name. I love it.
Brian Luoma.
I thought you were going to say Brian Allen. We love you, Brian Allen. Okay, awesome. Brian Luoma is the name and is the winner of the... No, Chris Cobb, you didn't win. You didn't win.
Brian Luoma has been a Patreon supporter since November 29th. So thank you, Brian. Really appreciate it. If you would like to be entered into our weekly prize drawing, you can go to patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV, the one that's up at the top there, and sign up for any amount, as little as $1 a month. That's,
oh my gosh.
yeah, that's
3 cents a day.
wow.
Yeah. I mean, you could give it to more needing people in other countries, or you could give it to us. I mean, you need us.
Really, you're going to see us, though. You're not going to see those needy people.
Ouch. Well, we're needy in a different way. In a different way.
I mean, if you think about it, you know, you have to look us in the eye.
That's true.
You don't have to look those really needy people in other countries.
That's true. Well, so there you go. What was the name again?
Brian Luoma.
Luoma. So Brian, this will be coming your way. I'll say I got pretty caught up today. If you are expecting a Patreon prize, Alexis, I'm actually bringing you yours in Waco tomorrow or the next day. And a number of other people. I had to go sift through some emails and try and get caught up. I think I assembled 4 or 5 different Patreon related prizes of sorts that either have shipped out today or are shipping out tomorrow morning. So finally made the labels, sat down, doing this in a whole batch process, trying to make it happen. And Jeremy Stewart asked a great question. I am giving away, if you're a Patreon supporter of the Disc Golf Guy, which is separate for my video blog coverage, if you are a Patreon supporter there, I'm giving away a basket every month. And last month, or I should say the first month of January, was Nick Williams. His basket should be at his house right now. I'm going to have him send some pictures. And I haven't done February's, and I think I even said it last week I was going to do it. Every day I pushed it off as I was working on this women's footage. I think tomorrow when I get to Waco would be a good time. If I've got good internet, I may sit down and just do it there. I'm thinking about giving away a Legacy, the brand new Legacy basket. I think there's no better time.
That would be awesome.
Than give out a brand new prize. I mean, maybe the next month could be a Latitude basket, as we talked about them releasing 4 new baskets. But a portable basket is given away every single month if you are a Disc Golf Guy Patreon supporter. So that's all you have to do is just be a supporter at any level over at the Disc Golf Guy, and that makes you eligible. I'll be giving away 12 portable baskets. If somehow my Patreon support gets up to $300, I'll give away 2 baskets a month. So that's all out there.
You showing up Smashbox?
Yeah, I am. Somebody wrote me the other day and said, I'm signed up for Patreon through you for the Disc Golf Guy. How do I become eligible then for the basket? I said, you've done it. All you had to do is sign up and become a supporter. So I'll go back to everyone that was a supporter on as of February 1st, and I will do that drawing. So the January to February, and then we'll have that basket, and we'll get that drop shipped to you. Yes, Jeremy, please keep patiently waiting for me.
Dad's Drunk asks, are they doing the giveaways on the Waco coverage? For those of you that know, the Disc Golf Pro Tour has planned to give away 2 items for every round of coverage that we have.
What? That's incredible.
My guess is that Steve is going to continue to do it. He
made great commercials for it. Right? I didn't see them. I heard they were great.
Awkward silence.
Okay.
Anyway, 2 items. And these are all sorts of different things. I mean, we saw keens, we saw baskets, we saw bags, we saw, I think, discs. There was.
I think the main 2, which are 2 of the best ones, are free keens and free baskets. I think that's.
Yeah.
I think keens. Don't quote me on this. I was wrong once. I think keens are going to be given away. The plan is to give away at least a free pair of keens every single broadcast, and that is all through the Disc Golf Pro Tour page and all of the details that Steve puts out there. But I believe he is trying to give away a free pair of keens in every single broadcast.
And I don't know if they're going to continue to do it the same way.
Okay.
Your best bet is to reach out to Steve Dodge, or hopefully Steve will reach out to me at some point this week to explain exactly what he wants to do, because I will say that the way it was handled at the last event, I wasn't the biggest fan of. It's very hard.
And you're not the administrator as well.
I am not the administrator. Someone asked me because I'm signed in as a Disc Golf Pro Tour, and I kind of threw my hands up in the air and went, meow.
Okay.
Got any gum? I don't know. So ultimately, we'll find out. I'll get a little more information, and however it's done, it will make sure to be out there. Keep an eye on the pre-show before the broadcast. That usually has information as far as the trivia giveaway.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, that is what you can be looking forward to in the WACO broadcast. And make sure you get signed up for fantasy over at skipace.com. I know we've talked about that as well. And some love and support out to Juju, one of the Team Legacy guys, John over there. He's just amazing human and individual who I've spent some time with in visiting when I'm out in California. He's been struggling with some health, and we're just wishing for a well wishes to him, the family, everyone that's pulling for him. We've been thinking about you, buddy, and I hope everything pulls out for you. So wanted to send that out as well. And I don't know that I have much else on top of that.
I don't.
I think I've fully plugged my Skyline Classic, which is in about a month. If you're anywhere in this area, come play a solid B tier. You're not going to be blown away by millions of dollars in prizes or giveaways, but you're going to play 2 great courses and have a good time, and you'll be treated pretty substantially with a player's pack if you're a non-pro. And, of course, I'll B tier standards for pros and beyond, so would love to see you there. And I think that's all.
That's
great.
great.
That's good stuff.
We got good stuff.
All right. Of course, go out and please enjoy the women's post-production coverage. You're going to see that come out quicker in weeks moving forward. A few setbacks and challenges this week, but you'll see that coming out quicker. I know a lot of people, once it was out, people are clamoring for it. It's awesome to see people like, we want more women's coverage and more rounds, and we're excited to get that all out there. So last few things on the board. DG Beat says, I want to see a Vanish commercial with that funny guy. I don't think Vanish is doing anything on the Pro Tour level right now.
I haven't seen anything.
Dad Strunk says his commitment is unreal. That's saying a lot, but compared to other elite athletes, I've never seen anything like it.
Talking about Tom Brady and that series from Facebook,
Time versus Tom.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I think I actually watched.
Edward is complaining, and I use complaining in a nice, as nice as it can be there, that we show a lot of the same commercials and that people tend to tune out a little bit. And then the trivia question is between the commercials. And that
let me ask though a quick question.
And that's perfect. But the thing is, everyone knows when the
trivia was then, at least.
Yeah.
And it may be different this week or not. Do you know already?
I've got the schedule.
Oh, let's give the Smashbox exclusive and give the questions away now.
No, it's always it's the same thing. It's always before hole 8. And 8 and it looks like 17. Where's the other trivia one?
I think you said after 7 and 17.
Yeah, after 7 and
now let me follow up though.
But I only see one right now.
Are we in a spot where you're not playing a lot of commercials more than once?
Well, here's a list of the commercials that we're playing for this particular event. Black Ink Disc gets 2. DGA, I'm not going to go through them all because I don't know how public this is, but DGA gets 2. I see one that's more than 2, and we have and DD has a few because they're the presenting sponsor. And we've got a new sponsor that I believe, we might have had them last year as well for this event, Balcones. So look at that. Look forward to that.
Okay.
But otherwise, I see a lot of ones there.
Okay.
A lot of these companies are getting one commercial because that's what they've agreed to with the Pro Tour. So
when I'm looking, for instance, right now at Dynamic Disc and it says 2, it says 2 ads. Those could be 2 of the same ads, which I doubt, or those could be 2 totally different ads, probably.
Correct. And
so if I'm looking at, I'll look at another and see Next Gen. It says 2. Those are probably 2 separate ads in that case. Or it
maybe
could
not.
be.
Maybe not. It depends
Okay.
it depends on the manufacturer. If they provide 2 different ads, I'll play 2 different ads. If they only provide 1 ad, I'll play the same ad twice.
Okay. Well, so it's certainly we've come a long way from having 5 sponsors with 5 commercials total.
That we had to play over.
And we had to play over and over and over again. We've certainly come a long way from that. And
correct. And it every year it gets better. So
yeah,
and
they continue.
And I can understand, Ed, that it's a commercial, and I tend to zone out on commercials, not during the broadcast, thankfully. For most other things as well, you kind of block them out. But I think that's kind of the whole point, and that Steve wants it that way. If I were Steve, I would mix it up a little bit as far as when they were, and then let people know before during the pre-show. You know, when's it going to be? But ultimately, I guess it doesn't really matter because someone's going to say it. So.
Daniel had said,
awesome.
Will we see a Ken Climo sighting this season? I just saw him. He was out on the golf course.
The golf course.
The golf course. He was watching Tiger. He saw Tiger Woods, I should say. He wasn't just watching him. But he was out at the event. I guess it was, I don't know if it was in Clearwater or Tampa, or I think it was in Tampa probably. But Ken Climo was out at the PGA event. I think it was him and his wife, Kelly, that I saw making a post. He had a little quick video even of Tiger hitting a second or third shot on one of the holes. So Ken was out on the course, just not playing or throwing discs. But we saw him, and it was great to see him on social media. I think a lot of people have been missing him and wondering. I should look quickly. I don't know if he signed up for Throwdown the Mountain or not. That would be awesome if he is. I know I've seen him there a number of times. But if he's there.
Yeah, Edward says Tiger's back.
Yeah, Tiger taking second this weekend.
He took second.
Tied for second?
Yeah, he took second, tied for second. Hopefully he can keep it up. I think a lot of people are getting their excitement. He's not playing Throwdown the Mountain. A lot of people are getting their excitement up for a one event thing. So
Tiger's not playing Throwdown the Mountain?
He's not. It's
Okay.
kind of weird. So I'll be curious to see if Tiger can continue his good play, as opposed to just maybe a one spot. So Ronald Harkey says we need to get Joe Chargoloff on here. You're correct. We do. We are well past our time on that. And I'd like to have the champ on at some point if possible. I know that's always a lot tougher. Because he's not exactly a computer guy in general. You know, not that he can't. He's getting more and more into the social media, but I'd love to sit down and be able to do an interview with him some night. But it's also late, and he's got kids and wife, and he's on the East Coast, so you know, we would have to maybe set aside a time where we would say, hey, at 9:00 we go live with the champ, and we can hopefully have him. But the thing is, when you do an interview with the champ, I'm going to want it to be like 2 hours long because there's so much to ask him.
Yeah.
So that could be like a special where we have to go like live early at like 7 or 8 and do kind of a special.
Smashbox exclusive coming in. I've got a couple things. One, I'll start with the more uplifting one. I'm hearing what I believe is from the I want to say the WACO camp. From some of the,
from the Branch Davidian.
From some of the organizers or arms of the organizers, questions are changing at different times during the round.
Oh.
So,
all right.
I'll give you guys that little hint. That was just alerted to me from a source inside. And also, I know some of you guys saw me a moment ago wonder what the phone call was coming in. I think it was from the school district, which...
like an automated message?
Yeah, an automated message, I'm guessing.
Please to pick your daughter up.
Well, no, unfortunately, more serious than that. It looks like our school district has canceled school for my 2 children tomorrow. There's some nasty messages which look like some kind of, I'll say, just go ahead and say like death threats of sorts that were sent into the school, suggesting it's going to be bigger than Columbine and Florida combined. Just you wait. Pewaukee isn't so safe. You're all going to die tomorrow. Nothing will stop us. So that was sent to, I don't know if into the school or to kids' phones directly or whatever, but my school district, where my 2 children go, will...
scary stuff.
Yeah, are not going to school tomorrow as it looks like school was canceled. So that is pretty scary and freaky. So apologize, I just received that. But that's what the weird phone call was about a few minutes ago.
From what I can see, the trivia is for tomorrow, or I'm sorry, for Thursday at least, it are the same 2 holes that we've had, because That's what I'm looking at on my wonderful little list here. But if one of the arms says that they'll be changing, then I believe it.
Well, it was just followed up with, it'll be posted. Thanks for keeping it on the DL. You're welcome.
What's going to be posted?
I don't know. I'm just going to quit talking because who knows what anyone
Listen,
knows. I'm done.
I have the official schedule right here that Steve Dodge gave me. I'm just going by that.
All right. Well, I think that's a great way to
well-oiled operation.
It is. We got this all under control, super smooth and easy. No problem. We're going to close it out. We're excited to be in Waco. I'll see you there tomorrow. I'll see some of you there. Looking forward to it. Hopefully the NCAA doesn't take over the entire state. I think that's some stuff's going on there, and I hope people from other parts of the country all make it, and it all finds its way over to the bridge at the party, St. Patrick's Day weekend. I don't know how you can't have fun. That sounds ridiculous. So for Johnny V and myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, for the Disc Golf Pro Tour news and updates, for Val Jenkins, the Women's Global event, and everyone else that we talked to or about, skipace.com, all those fun things. We'll see you guys this weekend for the live broadcast from Waco on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. We'll see you then when you step inside the Smashbox.